Is it possible for Popeyes to make boneless wings even better? You betcha! Popeyes has done it again with 5 bold tastes y'all are gonna love. No bones about it. Available in classic honey garlic, honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and signature hot, Popeyes boneless wings make it deliciously easy to enjoy crispy and juicy wings. For boneless wings with the bold flavor you can enjoy anywhere, you just can't beat Popeyes. No bones about it.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Hey, Hotels.com here. Struggling to keep up with your toddler? We know a hotel that'll keep them entertained. Book family-friendly hotels with pools in the Hotels.com app to find your perfect somewhere.
Hello everybody, welcome. Music is so quiet. I don't know what's going on. But hello everybody, I hope you're all doing really well, that you're all having a really good day. We're here, we're live, we're ready to get started. It's Tuesday, but it's the first day I'm back since the weekend, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a weird weekend. I didn't work. It was a long weekend here in Canada. It was Victoria Day, it was Canada Day. And so it was a long weekend, but I had to work yesterday because the one place that I have a contract at, they don't shut down ever. And so I had to work on the holiday, which really sucks because I don't even get like time and a half or anything for it. And I have been feeling really, really sick over the last couple of days. I haven't been sleeping. I've been sleeping like 2 or 3 hours a night. And so yesterday I was all feverish. I was feeling horrible. But I was able to sleep last night, which was really nice. Slept about 8 hours. So I'm feeling a lot better than I was feeling. But that was pretty much my weekend. It wasn't too exciting. It wasn't too crazy. Just kind of chilled out. Yesterday I got a lot of sunlight. I just want to make sure my audio is working. I can't hear anything from my speakers and I don't know why, which is really weird. And now even my YouTube won't open. What the heck, man? Nothing is opening. What is going on here? Hold on. Give me a sec here, everybody. Give me a sec here. All I'm trying to do is look at my stream. I can't look at anything. Everything's just black on my screen. Are we broken here? Is that what's happening? This is so weird. Why do I not have video? Hello, Michael Jackson. Okay, you can see me. YouTube isn't working for some reason. YouTube isn't working. Maybe Twitch is? I don't know. We'll see. Let me look at Twitch. I don't want to be in creator mode. I just want to go to my channel. Okay, Twitch is working. How does my sound sound? Okay, there's music and everything. We're good. It's just YouTube that's frozen for some reason, and I don't know why. Oh, it's working here. It's just not working on my tablet and stuff. That's so weird. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, as long as things are working, that's all that matters. So today we are doing something different. A new game. We beat The Walking Dead. It's complete, and I am done with that. So today we're starting something new. There we go. I wasn't centered. Now I'm centered. We're starting something new. We're going to be playing Wolf Among Us. So if you don't know anything about these series, The Walking Dead was the Telltale point and click adventure. The Wolf Among Us was also made by Telltale, and it's also a point and click adventure. Oh, now it's working. Oh, that was loud. And so it's the same kind of gameplay. This is supposed to be their like ultimate game. It's supposed to be like what was their perfect game, really. The Walking Dead was kind of the one that blew them up, and then this was the one that kind of put the crown on their head. So I'm really excited to play this. I've never played it. I don't know anything about it. My lips are really chapped. I just know it's really popular. So I'm very, very excited for it. I'm excited to play it. You know, we'll see how it goes. Merle, how's it going? How are you? Yeah, Wolf Among Us. Wolf Among Us. I'm very excited. I don't know anything about it, so I'm very, very excited to see how it goes. I just gotta get my chapstick because my lips are so dry. They haven't been kissed enough. That's the problem. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Ugh. Hello, Ultra Knight, how are you? You did one playthrough, but it's been a while. Yeah, I've never even looked into this game. I knew it was out. I'm not into like the classic monster thing, like the werewolves and vampires and stuff. And for some reason, I got like the vibes of like Brothers Grimm, Disney-esque fairy tale style thing, and that's not really my jam, so I never really looked into it. I wasn't really interested, but I've heard that it's really, really good, and I really enjoyed the whole Walking Dead thing. So I thought it was worth trying. You know, I thought it was worth something that was worth playing and seeing how it goes. And we'll see. Plus, I have nothing else to play, so might as well, right? But I'm doing really well. I was feeling really, really sick for a couple of days, which sucked. And, like, I was feverish. I was dizzy. I had a huge headache. All of my joints were hurting. But I hadn't been sleeping. Like, the night before last, I slept 3 hours. Or 2.5, something like that. The night before that, it was 3 hours. The night before that, it was about 4. So by yesterday, I was feeling feverish. I was feeling so sick. I went and laid out in the sun for a few hours to hopefully feel better. Hello, N. How's it going? I am playing Wolf Among Us. We're about to start. And so I was worried I was getting sick. But last night, I put a memory foam topper on my bed. And I slept 8 hours. And I'm feeling way, way better. I wasn't feeling... I'm not feeling perfect yet, but I'm feeling way better. I thought I was getting sick, but no, thank goodness. Merle, no problem. Go ahead and do the thing. I did, Michael Jackson. I did. I'm very excited. Very excited. I want to see what they do with it because I like the Dead Rising series. The last one that I played was Dead Rising 3. I heard Dead Rising 4 wasn't great. Dead Rising 3 was good, but it wasn't amazing. So I'm excited for Dead Rising to be redone. You did. I'm just starting. I've been live for 14 minutes, but like 6 minutes of that was me just like just waiting screen while I went and got a drink of water and stuff. So we're just starting now. Nice, Ultra Knight. Enjoy. All right, so I guess we'll get started. I think everything is working now the way I want it to be. So let's do this. Okay. I can hear it. Just gonna hope that the microphone doesn't pick it up. We'll find out. Right now it's not picking it up, but the music is also kind of quiet, so we'll see once they start talking. So I'm also playing Zelda A Link Between Worlds right now. I've only got 2 days a week that I'm 100%, or I'm gonna try my best to be 100% on, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Fridays are the 2 days I try to stream consistently. I have been throwing in a third day here and there. Sometimes it's Monday, sometimes it's Wednesday, depending on what is on the schedule for those days. I haven't really picked a third game. I've kind of just been playing random stuff. Like I played, can't remember. A company sent me out a game to try out, and I tried it, and it was really cool. I've been thinking of maybe doing a Hollow Knight. I'm not really 100% sure if I want to do that one, but yeah. I've been playing, so on Mondays I was playing, or on Tuesdays I was playing Walking Dead, but now I'm playing Wolf Among Us. And then on Fridays it's Zelda. On a Telltale marathon. Not really a marathon, just kind of, I don't really have anything to play. Also, welcome, ETHmaker. I don't really have a set game style, wrong camera, set game style. I've been playing just random stuff, but I like to stick with somewhat of a common theme on my channel. Like before, it used to be all Nintendo based stuff, and it was like every Monday was a Mario game, every Wednesday was Mario Kart, or sorry, every Tuesday was Mario Kart, every Wednesday was Zelda, and every Saturday used to be retro games. So I'd play, you know, Super Nintendo games on Saturday, but Saturday was also like a 6-hour stream. This was a long time ago. So I try to stick with themes. So right now I'm sticking with point and click adventures. It's not Telltale, it's just point and click adventures, but there's not a lot that really interests me, and I thought I would try Wolf Among Us. So that's it. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. I like the point and click adventure games with lots of choices. I think I understand why Telltale went out of business for their decisions. They had very lazy writing for a lot of it. It was very clear that they were just trying to do a cash grab by the end of it, because a lot of the decisions were very obvious what was going to happen by the end. By the last season, I knew when I was asked a question whether or not it really mattered what I answered, because it was so clear what they were doing, and I've heard that most of their games got that way by the end. That being said, I do like what Telltale did with not not playing it safe. You know what I mean? Like, they would just be willing to take out any character. It wasn't like other games where once you establish a connection with the character, you were pretty sure they weren't gonna die. And when they did, it was during like a really climactic moment that meant something big in the story. Whereas in The Walking Dead, like, they would just die, or you could meet somebody and they would be dead in the next decision just based on what you decided. So I do like that. I think games nowadays, not Telltale games, but just in general, have a habit of trying to include the decision making, but the decision making doesn't really matter. It's just whether or not you're a good guy or a bad guy, and that's it. Whereas in these games, it doesn't really ever decide whether you're good or bad. It just decides on who likes you and who doesn't, which I really like. I do like these games for that. My favorite part of these games, why I've been playing them, is it gives us a chance, as you can tell I like to talk, it gives us a chance to kind of discuss the decisions. You know what I mean? Because there will be people that will come in and like fully get mad at me for the decisions I make, but then it gets a whole discussion of like why I made the decision, why I think the decision makes sense or doesn't make sense, why I think it's good writing or bad writing, and not because like, oh, I think this writing's bad because in the universe it doesn't work. It's more like, you know, what the psychological meaning behind it is, or what good script writing is. And I really enjoy that, so that makes me really have fun. Honestly, I have no idea, ETHmaker. I have no idea. I don't play enough point-and-click adventure games to know what companies do it. I've never been a fan of point-and-click games. Mind you, I'm old, right? So the point-and-click games I played were a lot slower. And they weren't really my cup of tea. They weren't really done in a way that I enjoyed until, you know, Telltale started getting into it, so I don't really know. I've never really followed it. Night Owl, how's it going, man? How are you? How are things? Yes, and so the Detroit Become Human and I don't remember what the other ones are called. Heavy Rain, that director. His are all about decisions as well. The only downside to his games is they are very much just like a big cinematic trailer. It's not really gameplay. The gameplay is almost just an overlay. It doesn't really feel like you're affecting the game, so it's like watching a movie. But now that I'm doing these, that actually may be a good decision to do as well, because they're not really my type of game. I liked Heavy Rain enough, but I wasn't crazy about it. But now that I'm playing like Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead, I'm gonna play Life is Strange next. Yeah, the Heavy Rain, all those series, that might be an interesting series to go for. I hadn't thought of that. I like that suggestion. I like that suggestion. You know? Yeah, David Cage, that's his name. Yeah, David Cage. Life is Strange made you cry. I haven't played Life is Strange at all. That's another one that I haven't even looked into. I don't know anything about it. So I'm very, very excited to try it out. Give me a second, my friend's messaging. I just wanna message him. But yeah, it's the cinematic cutscenes, because a lot of it is like you're like I can only speak about Heavy Rain and I barely remember Heavy Rain, but the part that's like the meme, the Jason, you're literally just walking around and the only thing you can do is just yell Jason. Like there's no, although it's very tense and very intense, there's no actual gameplay. It's just walking around for that to happen. And a lot of it is just like shake the controller up and down to simulate like shaking the can for the foam for your face. You know, use the joystick to go up and down to shave. Why does that need to be in the game? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, they're just trying to force gameplay into it, and it's like, yeah, but this isn't as fun as like, back in the 80s and 90s, Dragon's Lair or whatever that game was called. It doesn't, it's not interesting. It just seems very forced. So that's like my problem with it. There's been a lot of issues within like David Cage and the way he writes and the way he treats his devs and stuff from what I've read. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about the company, but everything I've read just doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth about David Cage. That being said, the stories he tells are good, but I know a lot of people dislike him because of the treatment stuff, but also because it's very obvious that he basically just wants to be a movie producer or movie director and has just never made the leap, or hasn't had the chance to make the leap, or doesn't have the guts to make the leap, or just isn't good enough to make the leap into making movies, so he's just stuck to video games to do it. Because most of the games he's released, the people who like them really like them, but then the vast majority of people really dislike them. There's no people that are like, yeah, it's good. Most people are like, it's amazing, or it sucks. He splits people quite a bit. I'm not a fan. They don't really excite me, but I don't dislike them per se. They're just not my cup of tea. It's just not a game I'd be interested in. But like I said, I've been doing this on the channel now with like The Wolf Among Us and stuff, and I've found an interesting way to kind of approach them by speaking about like the writing and the psychology and all that. So that might be an interesting game to do on stream, that even though I don't like the game itself, it would be really interesting to be able to talk about like the decision making and stuff. I think it would be really interesting. Oh, I have a day job. I've never made enough money doing this to ever even like go down to part-time. I have a day job. Oh, Night Owl, you got sick again? That sucks, man. I was just saying earlier, I thought I was sick. I was feeling really feverish yesterday and really achy, and my joints were hurting, but I hadn't slept for like about 3 days. Like I had slept, but it was like 2 hours one night, 3 hours, 4 hours. Like it wasn't very much. So I felt horrible. But last night I had 8 hours of sleep, so I feel much, much, much better now. Life is Strange. Yeah, okay, I already read that. But yeah, so I guess we'll get started and see where this goes. Like I said, I don't know anything about this game. I am very excited about this game, and we'll see what happens. See how it goes. All right. Let's pay attention and see what happens. The volume looks like it's okay. It might be a little bit loud for all of you, maybe. Why can't I turn it down? Oh, wrong one. That should be a little bit better. Okay, I think I got the closed captioning on and everything, so we shouldn't, seems good there. Okay, cool. And then, we'll see. We'll see. No, not at all, and not at all. That wasn't disrespectful at all. A lot of people assume that when you have an okay following, you must be doing it full time. Not that my following is big, really. But also, when you have like fancy stuff like I do in the background and a fancy camera and stuff, a lot of people, it's an easy assumption to make that this is what I do for a living and that's why I've invested in it. But no, I've invested in it because one, I'm irresponsible. Two, I did photography for a long time and I was a sound engineer for live music. So I have a really big interest in like videography, photography and stuff. And also I have like fancy microphones and everything. But I also did theater school. Like I went to theater school. I pursued acting for a while. I still do it as a hobby, but not professionally. I'm a bit too old for that now. But that's why I have all this fancy stuff and I make content because I just enjoy it. But no, I wish, maybe one day. Who knows? We'll see. All right, pay attention because I don't know anything. Game series that absent choices you make. Okay. Once upon a time in New York City, there lived a community of fairy tale characters known as Fabletown. The Fables who lived there arrived hundreds of years ago after they were exiled from their homelands. Though the use of magic spell called Glamour, they have protected their secret community from the mundane world. Sheriff Bigby, Wolf protects them from each other. Okay.
105 today again if you missed it. A record for the date. Hottest ever in June. 103 now. That humidity looks low, but remember, the hotter the air is, the more moisture it can hold. So 103 with 31% humidity is a lot more humid than, say, 73 with 31% humidity. And it is muggy out there.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even pick up on that, Night Owl. I didn't even pick up on that. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. I genuinely know nothing about this game series at all. Like, someone mentioned that it was about fairy tale characters, and that was it. I was saying before you showed up, I was saying the fairy tale thing, the classic horror monsters like werewolves, vampires, and stuff. That stuff doesn't really interest me. So when I had initially seen this game when it first came out, I was kind of like, yeah, this is not for me. But I've heard it's so good, and I thought The Walking Dead was so good that I thought it was worth checking out. Yeah, the art style is phenomenal. The art style is amazing. And I do like the film noir stuff, so if that's what this is, then definitely excited.
Mr. Toad? Oh, shit. Bigby! Listen, mate.
Honestly, it's up to what you think, Ed.
Get it. I just stepped out the apartment for just a second to see what kind of damage this drunk shit is doing. Just cut me a break, yeah? I'll get me glamour first thing in the morning.
The video's a little bit cropped.
No need to kick up a fuss. I've heard enough of your excuses.
I'm gonna be a hardcore,
This is
gritty
unacceptable.
cop.
If you can't afford to look human, you're going to the farm. It's as simple as that. You can't send me up to live with those animals.
Anyways, the footage on the gameplay is a little bit cropped on TikTok.
Go see a
On Twitch, you
witch.
get the full
Get a
screen.
glamour. Bigby, they're bleeding me dry, mate. The quality of the spout goes down, but the rates keep climbing up. Do you have any idea how much it costs to have an entire family in glamour? It's not my problem. You're the one risking your entire family getting shipped off. It's completely irresponsible.
Yeah, ETHmaker.
Bigby, please. That's a low blow, mate. All this will be taken care of as soon as the witches are available to cast the spell. Whatever it costs, it's worth it. You don't want me catching you out of glamour again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for like the gritty,
See,
no nonsense
this is what I
cop in
told
this.
you about, Sheriff. You're just gonna stand there, do something, Bigby, before he completely tears up the place. I should probably go handle this. Yes, please. Thank you.
I just started watching The Boys. I've just seen the first episode.
Furry prick job shite. Tell me how to spend my money.
Dad, the lights are shaking again.
What did I say? You want a big bad wolf to take you away?
No.
Then get the fuck back inside.
Jeez. Hooter, how's it going? Welcome. You did too? Yeah, I've never seen it. I didn't even know what it was about. I had no clue. I had seen like pictures of the blonde guy. And I am not a fan of the Marvel universe. Not that I hate them, not that I think that they're bad movies, although I do think that they're milking it to the point of ruining the whole franchise now, because that's what Hollywood does. They find one thing that works and they just shove it down your throat until it falls apart, and then they discard it and never touch it again, which is really too bad. But anyway, not a fan. They just don't excite me. Like, I think I've seen maybe 3 Marvel movies outside of Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man series. I've seen like maybe 3 Marvel movies. Just not my thing. So when I saw The Boys, it seemed like it was a parody of that, and I figured I wouldn't enjoy it because it was a parody of something I don't watch, so I wouldn't catch on it. And then I heard what happened with this latest season, how it's getting downvoted for really obvious reasons and because people are morons. And I was like, I gotta see this now. I gotta see what this is about. And then I watched the very first episode, and not only is it really interesting and exciting, it also made me realize how stupid these people are that are mad at this new season. Because within the first episode, you can kind of pick up on what's going on. And it's really funny that they're so ignorant that now they're offended that people are calling them out on the fact of what the show has always been calling them out for. Anyways, regardless, the point is that I was really surprised by how good the writing is. I was surprised at how violent it is. I didn't expect that to be a thing. And it's genuinely an interesting show. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the irony. So I've only watched 1 episode, but it's because I don't really have a lot of time to sit and watch a show. And a show like that, I want to sit and really pay attention. And so I'm going to be watching like 1 episode a week, roughly. So it's going to be a really slow process for me. But very excited. Very, very excited. All right, here we go.
You hear me? Hey, look at me.
Stop, okay? You're drunk.
go. Take a look. Take a good look. You know who I am now? Hey, look at me.
I'm just gonna kick the door down. No nonsense cop.
God damn you!
Oh.
Whoa, hey, hey!
You've got something on your face.
Fuck are you talking about, you stupid?
Ew.
I'll fucking kill you! You fucker!
All right, everyone.
Ouch.
What are you
Oh.
gonna fucking do?
He cracked his
huh?
neck. You know he's strong now.
Get the fuck out of the way before you get the axe again.
Woody, I'm gonna break your fucking face.
Is that a fact?
Woody.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You got a shit fucking memory, Wolf.
Is he Pinocchio?
That's not how it went last time.
This isn't last time. You gotta calm down. Had enough?
Oh, he's the huntsman. Okay.
At least make this a fucking challenge.
Well, it would have been funnier if he was Pinocchio, but okay. Oh.
Back off, asshole.
Oh, bad choice. Bad choice.
Fucking glutton for punishment.
Fuck you.
Sorry, I'm concentrating. My reflexes are slow, so if I don't fully pay attention, we're gonna lose. Whoa, he's got a badass axe.
You should probably get out of here.
Look, I'm not leaving until I get what's mine.
You're not getting.
I get it. I get it, Merle. When he's like, you're not remembering the last time we did this, and he rips open the wolf. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be the wolf because he kills that wolf, but still, that's so funny. That is so funny. And you cracking your neck makes sense. You're a badass, so it makes sense. All right, and head over to Twitch.
Shit, bitch. I'll fucking put you on the ground.
Say that word one more time.
What? Bitch?
Oh,
Did I say?
You fucking. Oh, fucking shit. You bugged my jaw, you bastard.
And still you talk.
Fuck you.
Shit.
What are you doing here?
These lips are sealed.
ugh. Back to work, Merle. That's not good.
Look, this is just the start of a shitty night for me. I just need the money he owes me, then I can go.
What the hell is going on? What happened?
A little misunderstanding that turned into a real shit show. Don't worry, you saw the best bits.
There's more where that came from, girly.
Knock it off! What's your name?
Whatever you'd like it to be, handsome.
Don't make this more difficult than it has to be.
Sorry, Sheriff. Wouldn't want to add any difficulty to your night.
Why was he hitting you?
He asked me if I recognized him, knew who he was. I said I didn't. He started beating on me. Then you showed up, started beating on him. That about cover it, hun?
I'm the woodsman, you whore. I saved Little Red Riding dragon hood from this monster. I cut this fucker open and filled his belly full of stones and threw him in the fucking river. That's who the fuck I am, you stupid bitch! Hey, what did I say? I said be nice, or you wait.
Hello, Nolan. How's it going? Thank you for making the trip. It's actually such a big hassle for people to switch platforms, so I appreciate it. Oh yeah, Ethan. Spoiler alert.
Shit. Hey, Toad. My car.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Oh, no, by all means. Take your time. Make yourself comfortable.
So, how good is your insurance?
I can't be made.
All right, Merle. I'll miss you. Have a good shift.
Well, I can't be made. But even when you help, things end up more fucked than they started. Well, at least you're not fucking dead.
Uh-oh. Ow!
I know you're fucking in there. Come on out, you fucking dog. I'll put you out of your misery.
Oh, the game's not letting me do more than this. Come on, it's maxed out, game. Oh! The violence was not the answer for the boys, but the girl didn't care. Wifey material, for real.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. I'm just getting what he owes me. You all right back there? I mean, your eyes and the teeth? You're not really supposed to do that, are you?
Not if I can avoid it.
Great.
The guy's got an axe in his brain. He's not feeling that.
It's more from me. He'll be fine.
I'll kill you, you fucking bitch.
Let me help you.
Ah.
Guy's having a bad day.
That makes two of us. I guess it's a good thing fables are hard to kill.
Suppose it is.
Yo, she is sexy. What is up with this? Is she my first official cartoon crush, everybody? Why did I let her? Because she's hot. Totally a simp for cartoon little skirt woman. I did. She's not my type.
Here.
Thanks.
I was a bit too old for the Cars movies.
Work for, really.
These lips are sealed. Sorry.
I think I like her because she reminds me of Jill Valentine from Resident Evil.
Hey, you like my ribbon?
If you don't answer my questions, I can't help you.
I'm answering them the best that I can.
I feel like we've met before.
We probably have.
No flirt.
We all sort of knew each other at one point or another. But things change, I guess.
I guess.
Bing bong. His license plate is totally.
Stop. We don't have to make any more of a thing out of it than it already is.
He hit you. He needs to pay for that.
He's got nothing to give, Sheriff, I checked. Besides, I just swung an axe into the guy's head. I'd say we're even.
Maybe I should be arresting you.
I'm not gonna be doing this for much longer. So, now's your chance.
How much was it he owed you?
100.
I'm guessing it'd be bad for you to show up empty-handed.
I'll be fine.
Let's see, I've got, it's 20, 40, 7, 8, 58. That's all I got. It'll help, right? Take it.
It's okay. I'll be fine. You've done enough.
True. True, Heathmaker, true.
You got me out of a bad situation back there. Thanks.
I'm still gonna need a statement.
I have to go drop off what I have.
Meet me back at my office, then.
It's a little late for an office visit, Sheriff. I'll swing by your apartment.
How do you know where I...
You live in the smallest apartment in the Woodlands. Everyone knows that.
Good to know.
You should get cleaned up. You look like shit. And I don't use that term lightly. Some of these look pretty bad.
My cleanup okay.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Get the feeling like he stinks like stale cigarettes.
I need to tell you something.
What is it?
What?
You're not as bad as everyone says you are. I'll see you around, Wolf.
Boy, am I glad I don't live in this world. I would be an embarrassing simp around this woman. Be mushing her hands. Yeah, I get the feeling like he stinks like stale cigarettes and coffee. Oh. Okay. I guess I was pretty accurate about that. All right, that was a really good intro. That was a good way to start this story. Huh. Oh man, this reminds me of like an 80s detective movie. Chris, apparently there is a part 2 that's being worked on now. So, maybe? Who knows? I haven't heard much, but it'd be really cool if there was. I've never played this, so I don't know anything about it, but I've heard this is their best game. So I am quite excited to see how it goes.
Apartments. Wish they wouldn't advertise that.
That's your vibe. I like 80s movies. I like the 80s horror movies. I've never been like a huge fan of like the other types of 80s movies, like the coming of age stories, not my type. The comedy movies like Porky's or whatever, not my type. But I do like the 80s horror movies. I haven't really watched 80s like noir-esque movies. I have watched some of the classic noir movies. I don't remember any of them anymore, but I do like that whole theme, that idea. That's why I loved LA Noire. So I think I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm not a fairy tale fan, but I feel like this is gonna make it very interesting. 80s action, yes. 80s action,
Don't make me
100%
come
yes.
over there. Look,
buddy
Got
cop
an
movies.
hour of paperwork
Van
ahead of me,
Damme.
and I've already had to deal with one asshole tonight, so just
Sorry, Bigby. Didn't mean to be an asshole.
beauty.
Oh my gosh, I just caught onto it even more. You talked about Big Bad Wolf. They've referred to him as Big Bad Wolf. They write his name as Bigby, so I read it as Big B, but I didn't realize it was Big B Wolf. Big Bad. I get it now. Way over my head. Way over my head. Totally missed on that. Oh man, I think I'm gonna enjoy it.
I wasn't expecting anyone. I know this looks a little odd.
You're out pretty late.
Is there some sort of curfew I don't know about? What's with a third degree?
IQ 1. Yep.
Damn it, I'm late. Please, Bigby. Promise me you won't tell Beast you saw me. He worries too much as it is, and...
Look, whatever it is, it's between you and Beast. I'm staying out of it.
I don't have time to go into it right now. I'll explain it all to you later. I will, but I have to go. It's not what you might be thinking.
There's a new Beverly Hills Cop, really? I can't remember Beverly Hills Cop at all. I know that it is a movie that I've seen, but I was like 9, maybe 10, so I don't remember it at all. I need to watch it. I didn't know there was a new one. That's so cool. Like, my favorite was Van Damme. I always loved his movies. I was never a huge Steven Seagal fan, and even less now that I realize how much of a fraud he is and how pathetic he is, allegedly. I did like Mel Gibson and his movies. I was always a fan of Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. No matter how stupid their plots were, like arm wrestling, nuts. But I loved those movies. But Van Damme was my favorite. When I got a bit older, Jackie Chan was my favorite, and not the American Jackie Chan movies, but like the proper original Chinese movies he did. Jackie Chan was one of my favorites. I was also a big fan of like Jet Li and Chow Yun-fat. I loved a lot of Asian movies. But yeah, old school action flicks, totally my thing. Totally my thing. Kickboxer for me was Bloodsport. I really loved Bloodsport and Time Cop. Those were the two I really liked. It's like the Bachelor Simulator. Heck yeah.
Hey, you wink? Probably for the best.
You haven't seen any of those? They are old school action movies. Modern folks would probably not like them. There's probably a lot of inappropriate things in it. Inappropriate as in like sexism, bigotry, stuff like that. That's just like casually dropped in those movies. But I really liked those old movies. But Jackie Chan's old action movies were really fun because he did his own stunts, but he was younger, so the stunts were way gutsier. Because like a lot of Westerners, Canadians, Americans, they know Jackie Chan from like Rush Hour and Shanghai Noon and those kind of movies. But like the Drunken Master series was awesome. The old movies like Operation Condor, City Cop I think was another one. There's one where he doesn't remember. Who Am I is another one. Those movies, they had insane stunts. And they've got very much Chinese acting in it, in the sense of like there are different forms of acting that are more acceptable in different cultures. And I know Korean does it a lot, but Chinese does it a lot too, where like the acting is a bit more facial and a bit way more. It's more expressive in their face than we are. Like if in one of our movies you're gonna be shocked at something, you're gonna be like, oh my god, and you kind of open your face slightly. Whereas like those movies will be like, oh, it's just very animated. So if you go in watching it thinking you're gonna see Western style acting, it's gonna feel kind of cringe. But that's just the style that their culture does. But those movies are phenomenal. Jet Li movies, like proper, like Asian Jet Li movies, not what was that one? The one with Aaliyah from the 2000s or early 90s or whatever. Like those movies are fine, but they're very Americanized, and Americans have a very different way. Americans, as in like Westerners, Canadians, whatever, have a very specific way of choreographing action sequences. I read this once and it makes total sense. And it's very different than how Asian directors direct action sequences. American directors will direct by cutting the scene into a bunch of different angles. So when there's like a punch, you'll see the swing come from one angle, but the contact is a different angle and the flyback is a third angle. Whereas like an Asian movie, it's one angle for the whole swing, punch, and fly. And so you actually get to see the action in one smooth movement, which although is slower in some aspects and less action than in American movies, it's more intriguing because you're seeing the full fight actually work out and you're seeing the full movement, which is more impressive because it's just one fluid shot versus constantly flashing to different scenes, which then makes the fight, although it's more impressive because you can make the punch look more authentic, you can make the flying across the screen look more interesting. It's so quick to your face that you can't actually process what's happening. Whereas in an old Jackie Chan movie, an old Jet Li movie, you see it all in one take, and it's just you can consume the whole action better. So I prefer the older movies. Yeah, John Woo, yep, those ones were great. There were a lot of awesome movies. Yeah, it feels more realistic. Yeah, exactly. And welcome, by the way. Yeah, and that's it, right? Like the talent behind it is the same. They're both just as talented as far as like the martial arts and the stunts, the risk, but it's the directing style that changes the flow and changes the feel of it. It's just like comedy. When you look at like British comedy versus American comedy, Americans, Canadians don't find Canadians are a bit more open to it because we're one of the whatever it's called, like we still have the king. So we're more open to British style comedy, but then the Brits don't find American comedy quite as funny because our comedy to them is stupid. So it's kind of the same with like the fighting sequences. It's just a different style of art expression. I prefer the older martial arts movies. But yeah, 80s action movies are totally my thing. And I think a big part of it is nostalgia. My dad used to love them. Every weekend we would rent one movie and one video game, and he would always rent some kind of action movie. So I've watched horrendous action movies, like really bad action movies. Like Julia Roberts has a brother, and he did some really like not even B movies, but like C-class action movies. I've watched a bunch of them. I don't remember any of them. I just remember they were horrible. How was meeting the family? I don't know what you mean, Eathmaker. Oh, the big thing with all the family. No.
Hey,
so
wait up.
I misread the message. That's not until next month or this month now.
Nope, haven't seen her.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bother you. Damn it. Something's going on.
It pointed out I lied to him. He's gonna find out I lied, isn't he? He's gonna find out. Cleaned for nothing. Yep. Exactly, Eathmaker. Oh well. That's fine. At least my place is clean now. I can't finish bad movies either unless they're like horrendously bad. That they're so bad they're good. But if they're just like mediocre, I really have a hard time getting through them. Those old action movies, they were kind of mediocre. Like the bad ones were kind of mediocre level. I wouldn't watch them now. I just did because my dad wanted to watch them, and we really enjoyed all like my dad would make us sandwiches, and we would all like get together on the couch and he would throw the movie on and we would all watch the movie together as a family, and like I loved that growing up. So I would sit through them because of that.
What a night. Why do I even own this? Should have got a smaller one.
I don't remember the Beekeeper movie.
Bluebeard's file.
Okay, I don't know Bluebeard's story. Jason Statham are always hit or miss. I haven't watched too many of his movies, actually.
Don't even remember ordering that. Probably a bad sign.
I've maybe seen 2 Jason Statham movies. I did like both of them, but I don't remember which ones they were. And I really haven't watched too many, so I can't say that I'm a huge fan of his. But I'm not surprised because I've seen his name on some movies that I'm like, how can that possibly be good?
Should help.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've seen the Transporter films. I might have seen the first one. I did see a movie with him. I can't remember what one it was, though. Okay, might as well look him up.
Oh, hey, Big B.
I'm living with one of the 3 little piggies.
I'm tired, Colin. It's been a long day.
Put some pants on, for God's sakes.
Got a smoke? Thanks. Couple thousand more of these, we'll be even on that house you owe me.
Ha!
This has gotta stop. You can't keep sneaking off the farm like this.
The fresh air and sunshine pitch they sell you on is bullshit. I didn't escape out of the homelands to end up in some prison, okay? Don't send me back there, Big B. You don't know what it's like, okay? You haven't been there.
Don't be a pain in the ass. I'll tell you what I told Toad.
And what's that?
You're putting all of Fabletown at risk.
Lectured by the big bad wolf. He must have loved that.
I'm the same way.
That for me?
Night Owl. I always forget what movies I've watched.
The house didn't blow itself down, Bigby. That's all I'm saying. Do with that what you will. Now, I'm not saying it's reason enough for me to have definitely been offered a drink, but, it would have helped ease some of the pain you once caused me, yes? It also would have shown everyone how different you are now.
I also will watch a movie, know I've watched the movie, and don't remember part of it. As I'm watching it,
nice.
I'm remembering immediately what happens after the thing I've just seen, but I don't remember anything
This is
past
why
that.
Everyone hates you.
It is better to be feared than loved. You know who said that?
Yeah, some sad asshole. Eating alone. But, no. Hate's the wrong word. They fear you more than anything. You ate a lot of people back in your day.
I thought we were all supposed to have a fresh start here. I can't change the past.
Well, you can't change people's memories either. Look, I'm not saying it's fair, but it's real. People are scared of you. I mean, look at your hands. Who'd you get in a fight with? A Fable, right? I'm sure you're not going around punching Mondays.
Wasn't my fault.
I get the impression you say that a lot.
Yeah, I've never been a movie nerd.
You think my job is easy? You try keeping a bunch of fables from killing each other. How do you think this all works?
I don't know. How?
I was never a movie. Sorry, I don't know the story of this, so I want to pay attention to what's happening. I was never a movie nerd. I rarely watched movies at home. We would watch movies with my dad, but they were always action movies. My mom always wanted to watch like Spanish movies, and that was just not my thing. You know, she'd watch her telenovelas, and so that was eh. I would go to the movies once in a while, but one of my friends was Vietnamese, so he would always put on Asian films. So I watched a lot of those, but outside of that, I didn't really watch a whole bunch of movies. You know, even when I went to theater school, my friends all talked about the classic movies that were seen as amazing, and I'd never seen any of them. Like, I didn't see Fear and Loathing until I was about 21. And after seeing it, I hated it. I don't get why everybody loves that movie. I think it's a really stupid movie. It's just not my thing. I still think it's a stupid movie. I was bored out of my mind watching that thing. Now, I will say, there's probably a lot to be said because I've never done any kind of heavy drug. At that point, I had never really been drunk excessively. So I probably couldn't connect with a lot of it. But I don't get what the big deal is. And my friends were like, this is one of the greatest movies of all time. They also threw on Boondock Saints, which I left 25 minutes into the movie because I couldn't understand a word they were saying. And to me, that was just boring, so I just left. So there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen. I don't have a collection of movies at all. I think I might maybe have... No, I don't think I own any hard copies of any movies. Yeah, I'm not a movie fan. I'm not a movie person. I was never interested in... Oh, shut up, TikTok. If you see me moving my mouse, you should know I'm here. Why do I have to verify that I'm here, TikTok? You got about 700. That's crazy. I'm from El Salvador. I'm 100% Hispanic. But yeah, no, I don't watch movies. It's never been my thing. It's never really been a huge thing for me to sit and watch movies. Partially because I have to like fully sit and watch it to appreciate it. And I'm always doing stuff. Like you can't see it because it's not on camera, but like I'm sitting here with my tablet, and whenever I'm like editing or whatever, I've got my tablet going with a video, or if I'm playing a movie, I'm playing a video game. So I'm never fully sitting and playing or watching a movie. So it's a benefit because Kendra likes to watch movies a lot. And so she can just show me a bunch of movies that I've never seen. So there's always something for us to watch because I never know what I'm watching. But at the same time, I can't suggest anything because I've never watched anything. And she likes to quote movies a lot, and I never understand where the quote's from because I don't know it. And I think I was saying it before TikTok interrupted me. In theater school, I got picked on a lot because they would all talk about these classic movies. They would talk about the greatest actors because of this role in that film. And I never knew what they were talking about. Because I like the performance of acting. I like the talent and skill that's involved in acting. But I've never been obsessed with movies. I get distracted way too easily. I get bored way too easily watching a movie. And so I just don't watch movies. And like even now, she wants to watch the latest season that's going to be coming out of Umbrella Academy. I've only seen the first season, and I need to watch the second season. And to sit and actually put it on is a lot of work for me. A lot of work for me. You have a bunch of 2000s DVDs? Nice. You bought a pure DVD back in the day, could get 3 for 10. Yeah. Like anytime I have bought anything, there's a place in Canada, in my province in particular. From where I live now, it's about 3 hours, I think. I think it's about 3 hours from here. It used to be like an hour and a half from where I used to live. And it's a mall, but it's not a regular mall with like regular shops. Like you're not gonna go in there and see like a Kohl's for books, or see like well, in Canada we have the Bay or a Walmart or whatever in there, or like a diamond shop. You go in and it's a bunch of import stores. It's basically like, I don't know if you've ever seen the videos that like Linus Tech Tips has done, or the guy who called out Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus, has done, where they go to China and then they show you their shops where they just buy a bunch of random parts to like old PCs and old phones and stuff like that. It's like that, and it's the last time I was there, it was all Asian run. So people from Japan, from Vietnam, from China, and they all have their own little booths, but they're not proper stores. It feels almost like a flea market, or like it's a giant warehouse and they've built makeshift walls in between each one of the shops. And none of the shops are regular stores. It's very much like the one would be video game systems, and that's all they sold. They sold no games, just systems, but they were all imported systems. And so like you'd walk in and be like, oh, we have PSPs, but we have them in these obscure colors that only sell in Japan. Or here's a PlayStation 1, when we've already gotten to the PlayStation 4 at the time. But it's a PlayStation 1 that has, you know, these unique colors and doesn't have a disc drive, it's a hard drive, and like it's modded. Or you can buy video games for like, you know, $20 for 50 of like PlayStation 1 games. But you need a modded PlayStation 1, if you know what I'm saying. They would also sell movies, where it was, you know, $25 for 25 movies or whatever. There's not even a label on them. They're literally like in a little plastic sleeve. I bought movies like that, for sure. I don't have them anymore, but I have bought movies like that. But yeah, I don't even own any of my favorite movies. Part of it is not because I hate movies and I don't want to buy them. Part of it is I'm a cheapskate. It's the fact that movies, I like to watch movies in like the coolest quality possible. And so like I've got a fairly fancy OLED Samsung television, right? It's got like the full HDR, it's OLED, so you get the really, really nice contrast. The colors are beautiful on it. It's got, because it's the highest end television that was out at the time, it's got the nice speakers on it and everything. So like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I don't want to watch a DVD version of it. I want to watch like the Blu-ray HDR version. But the DVD version I could probably get for like $10. The Blu-ray version is gonna be $35. And so then I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money for just a couple of extra features, but I'm not gonna buy the cheap one because, well, I mean, I don't have any of the features. So then I'm at an impasse. So then I never buy anything. You know what I mean? I'm a cheapskate. Here's my $5,000 TV. But that's the in my mind. I'm not saying this is the argument. In my mind, what I look at is that $5,000 TV. It wasn't 5,000. It was like they had already released the next generation, so it was the generation prior. But it was like they released the next generation, and it was like 2 months old. And so I was like, oh, the last generation is on its way out, so they're all on sale. So I bought this one on sale. I bought it for $1,500. It was originally $3,000 when it was released, and it was $2,500, but on sale when I bought it. Which is the only reason I pulled the trigger on it. Because most of my TVs, I end up going for like Hisense, which is a budget brand television. And I go for like the mid tier that they have. So it's like my other TV was like $500, which is still not super cheap, but it's not really expensive when you compare it to a $3,000 TV. But anyway, with the television, I can do multiple things, like do the video games. I could plug my computer into it and I still get the full 4K HDR, 120 hertz. That was my logic behind it. Whereas with a movie, I'll spend $35, watch it once, and then it's gonna sit on the shelf for the rest of the time. And so it's like that feels worse for me. Whereas the television, I use it on a daily basis for hours on end. That makes more sense to spend the money on, if that makes any sense. Yeah, Ethan, that's what I want to look at. See how they do that, because I have no idea how they'll write it in. It was recorded in my hometown. And so at least season 1 was, and I recognized a lot of the areas because I grew up in that area. So that's the first reason I watched it. I really liked Elliot Page. When I was in theater school, I trained with one of her acting coaches, which was really cool. It was when Elliot Page was doing Juno and they were winning a bunch of awards for it and stuff. I had a huge crush on Elliot Page at the time, and it was like, it was awesome that I was working with his coach. And so like I started watching it because of the location they filmed it, because a lot of the streets in that town, I don't live there anymore, were shut down, and I heard what they were filming, and when it was out, I wanted to watch it. And then I heard Elliot Page was in it, and I loved Elliot Page's work, so I wanted to see it. And then I ended up really liking the show, but I don't have Netflix anymore, so I haven't caught up with it. So I need to catch up because I want to see how they write the transition into it without it feeling forced, without it feeling half-assed either. I want to see how they can make it interesting. You know what I mean? It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. The Boys is filmed in your city. That's cool. That's really cool. like I said, I've only ever watched one episode of The Boys so far.
Big
I'm really excited.
And being bad.
By being big and being bad. Don't say that shit in front of people. It's embarrassing.
You're not people.
That's the attitude that gets you in trouble. I'm sure you were shitty to everyone you came across tonight.
Not everyone.
Name one.
Beauty.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I kept her from making a bad situation worse.
Right. Yeah. That's real nice of you. Life is easier with friends, Bigby. And we live a long fucking time. I know you like this whole lone wolf thing you got going for yourself. But I've seen the way you look at Snow, okay? You're not fooling me.
Will you shut up?
Well, maybe if my throat wasn't so parched, I wouldn't have to keep talking.
Talking makes your throat more...
Just give me a drink, please.
Colin, enough already. I haven't slept in 2 days. I went out a second-story window, and I want to get in 2 seconds of shut-eye before I... Look, if I give you this, will you let me sleep?
Yeah, all right. Probably.
Good luck.
Thanks, Bigby.
It's also alcohol, which is also dehydrating. So, like, your logic makes no sense, Piggy. Yeah, Manchester has a lot of filming done there. My town gets a lot of, or my hometown got a lot of jobs. A lot of movies were done there, because it has a variety of looks, and it can look like a generic city, and so they can do quite a bit with it. Like they filmed, oh, I don't remember what that movie's called. It was a movie that Mark Wahlberg was in. And was it called Brothers? Blood Brothers? Brothers? It was about 4 brothers. I don't even remember what the plot was. It was about 4 brothers, but either they weren't brothers or they were all adopted. But it's like there were black characters and white characters, and they were all brothers. And Mark Wahlberg was in it. That was filmed literally around the corner from my grandmother's house. And I was living with her at the time, so it was my house at the time. But I remember at night I would walk home from my girlfriend's house, and there were just like spotlights all around our street. Because they were just filming everything all over the place. They would park all their film trucks down our street as they were filming, and it was wild. I saw Mark Wahlberg while they were filming. There was even like a shot where you could see my girlfriend's house, ex-girlfriend's house at the time, girlfriend, whatever. As they're walking across the street, you see it in the background. I was like, that's really cool. The 4 brothers, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, super inventive. But yeah, they filmed a lot in my city. A lot of movies are filmed there, like, all the time. But it's because it's a city that's big enough that they have a city that they can film in that looks like a lived-in city. But it's also small enough that the rest of the world doesn't really go to it, so it's not going to be very well known. And it can quickly be changed, because we have parts of my city that look like a modern-day city, but we also have parts in the city that look like a 1950s style city, a small town. We have rich looking neighborhoods. We do have rich neighborhoods in general, but we have more lofty looking areas. And so there's a lot of variety to film in that city. So they're always filming in that city, which is nice, but it's also a pain in the butt because when you live there, a lot of streets get shut down all the time as they're filming. But it's pretty cool when you're watching a movie and you can see something in the background, which is awesome. Old wartime movies. Yeah. Because most people, when they think of old-timey war stuff, at least here, when they think of old-timey war stuff, you're either thinking like Germany or the UK. Like that's what you picture when you think of Germany, or when you think of World War II, is Germany or the UK. And the buildings and the art styles, at least in my mind and everything that I've ever seen, you always think of the UK. And so you're gonna go to somewhere like Liverpool, where a lot of those like art styles and that history is still there, so you can get it on film and make it look that way. Batman was filmed in Liverpool. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's really cool. Kendrick gonna be mad at that sleepovers? Nah, not at all. Because that girlfriend was when I was like 18.
Bigby,
Snow?
come with me.
Yeah, and that's my idea. Is like Liverpool wouldn't have gotten bombed so much, so a lot of that same architecture would still be there.
Snow.
What?
And so getting it on film would give that authenticity to it.
What is it?
What happened?
I just can't get into it this second. We need to hurry to...
Hi.
Hello. Good morning. Or evening.
Yeah.
These walls are paper thin. We need to be careful. We'll talk outside.
Wolf and Sheriff's Clubbing. Steam's trophies are really useless. It's not like when you're playing PlayStation or Xbox, where you have to like, or the achievements or whatever, where you have to like actually do something to get an achievement. Here, I'm literally just playing the game and watching a cutscene. Achievement for watching this cutscene. Really? Really? Oh.
You knew this girl? She's not a Mundy, right? Who was she? I thought I knew everyone in Fabletown. She looks familiar.
Just a girl. We didn't have a whole lot of time to chat.
I don't even know what the cards were.
A woodsman. He attacked her, I stepped in. And he threatened to kill us both.
No, you don't think he...
I don't think anything yet. Just give me a second.
Yeah, I had her.
Terrible.
I had already planned our wedding and everything,
So,
and now she's dead.
Tell me what happened. Every detail.
I wish there was more to tell.
I didn't even name her Boris this time.
Left the office, walked past the security desk. Luckily, he was asleep.
Grimble.
Yeah. Then I opened the door and I found her. Like this. I came to get you right away.
And that's all?
That's it. Sorry. Big P, did one of us do this?
There hasn't been a murder in Fabletown in a long time.
All the more reason we shouldn't start a panic before we know what's going on.
Corpse
Have a look
bride.
around. We don't have much time before people will be coming through here.
Murder mystery. So messed up, man. It's like that girl that did that to the guy, and her mom, or his mom, found it.
She was placed here with some care.
What do you mean?
You can see that someone didn't just toss her here. She was deliberately placed for us to find.
She's 80% off. She took the Steam sale too seriously. She heard other games were 80% off, so she thought she'd be 80% off too.
What is? Strange cut. What did this to her?
What could do something like that?
Either something very sharp or something with magic attached to it.
That was funny. That was actually really funny, Eve.
It's her ribbon. There's some kind of symbol here.
Huh. I don't recognize it.
Neither do I.
I gotta fix my Nightbot because that Twitter, I don't use it. And my Discord link is wrong, I think.
I'm sorry. This is just so surreal. What do you want to do next?
We still have some time. I should keep investigating the area.
Okay, good idea.
The other character was named Beauty, but I think Snow White is much more of a fox. Oh, the mouse is doing something weird. That's really weird. It doesn't even match with the background. Like, as I'm moving... Okay, in this one, it kind of stuck with the background. But it doesn't always stick with the background. It just kind of moves at its own pace. It's weird. Who would pick leave? Dude, a lot of cops in real life would. The amount of times criminals have gotten away because the cops didn't bother doing even the bare essentials for investigating is embarrassing sometimes.
Fabric. Looks like jeans. Doesn't tell me much. Just some loose trash. Blood. Still wet. Sharp enough.
I just went that way.
Blood. Drops of blood. I'd say it's been here, maybe.
I mean, in this world, that probably would work, Ethan.
Something to do with the blood on the fence.
Right? In this magic fairy tale land, they would absolutely be able to, like, find the exact fit. And it's like, this is the guy. Look, his gene is ripped right there. And this fits perfectly. The magic spell will be broken now.
Nobody there.
What are you doing?
Better to be thorough.
Sure, just hurry up. We don't have much time.
I love that he's looking right at her butt the whole time, though. I've got to be thorough. Shape. How does it
We
feel?
should
This fabric
move
is
her
not gonna work.
before anyone shows up. We'll find out more at the business office. She'll be in the books. I'm sure of it. Bigby, do you have any idea what's going on? How did this happen? Why her?
This is a message.
A message? I don't know, Bigby. I get complaints at the office all the time, but just what about this makes you think that?
Whoever did this isn't exactly hiding it. The placement of the head, it's exact, purposeful. She was placed here precisely for us to find. All of us.
Well, yes. I guess you're right. The killer wanted us to know what they had done. I'm gonna have to tell Crane about this. As long as King Cole is gone, he's acting mayor. He needs to know. And he's going to find out anyway, so we may as well get out in front of it.
I guess it's useless to drag it out.
That's how I feel too. I'm sure he won't be happy, but it's just part of the process. Hopefully he can be rational about it.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
I'm not.
I just don't want him interfering.
Crane's not what's important right now. We need to figure out who this girl was so we can find whoever did this. take this back to Dr. Swinehart. He can take a look at it. I'll meet you at the business office.
What are you, blind? What, you don't see there's a line? I've been standing here a half hour already. You get to just walk in? Must be nice being the sheriff. Do whatever the fuck you like.
I know. I'm taking cuts.
Is that supposed to be funny? You see anyone here laughing, Sheriff? Fucker.
Episodes as well.
Because you are the one bringing this to me, Miss Snow. The one who so simply stumbled upon this catastrophe on our very doorstep. The last thing I need with Mayor Cole away is a hysteria. Do you understand me?
Yes, of course I
Don't
do.
interrupt me, Miss Snow.
You asked me a question.
Don't change the subject. You are to blame for this unpleasantness, Miss Snow.
I brought you this news as soon as I could.
You are trusted to keep things running smoothly around here. This is a disaster.
Back off, Ichabod. It's not her fault.
I don't need your help, Bigby.
Instead of trying to assign blame, maybe we should figure out how to catch the fucker who did this.
Exactly.
Oh, says the man who is most to blame for this catastrophe. How convenient. Sheriff, you are the one charged.
Did he really just do one of those, you're to blame, you have all the blame, and somebody else walks in, and you're even more to blame? Is another one gonna walk in, and he's even more to blame? Dude, you're in charge. Yeah, but I'm not to blame. You're to blame. Oh, this guy's pathetic. He's Ichabod Crane.
The citizens of Fable.
Ichabod Crane, I think that's the Headless Horseman, isn't it? Like the guy from the story of the Headless Horseman, he sees the Headless Horseman, or he is the Headless Horseman? One of the two. I just can't remember which character he is, but he's from the Headless Horseman, right? Yeah. You say yep, so I think yeah.
Your failure
He
to
sees
do
the
so
Headless
cost
Horseman. Thank
someone
you.
Their life and the safety of the entire community. Tell me you've been doing something. Are there any leads? Suspects? Anything? Anything at all?
I don't know.
Any
We're to
shred
blame.
of evidence you two know what the hell you're doing. Because right now, I have half a mind to fire the both of you.
Yeah, her pimp.
Her... was she
Yeah. She was worried about a money situation.
I've never actually read the original, so I don't
This
remember
is
what the
just
story is.
wonderful. Not only is a fable killed, but it was a fable hooker to boot. You two need to get a handle on this situation quickly and quietly. The last thing we need is all of Fabletown knowing there's a killer amongst us. Snow,
Yes? Sir?
call Vivian right this minute and let her know I'm coming in early for my massage.
I will.
Where is the bottle of wine you were to purchase? Oh, bother. Forget it. Can't do anything right. Do your job, Sheriff, or we'll find someone who can.
You know what?
Stop. We'll get on it right away, sir.
And he's a
You
good
would've just pissed
slap
him
in the
off
face.
more.
All right.
Well,
Or
that
because
could've
it's funny he's here, right?
well,
It's weird.
Maybe we should have dragged it out.
For what it's worth, I still think it was better to tell him.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, Crane doesn't like people smoking and... Never mind. Smoke away.
What an asshole.
Yep. That was about an 8 on the asshole scale. Asshole scale? Well, that doesn't sound right.
Is he gone?
Yes, thankfully.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Buffkin!
Hello, Miss Snow.
Drinking? This early? Where did you get that?
It was by Mr. Ichabod's desk.
Then don't you think it probably belongs to him?
Maybe. How are you today, Mr. Bigby?
Fine, Buffkin. Thanks for asking.
Buffkin, get the books.
Which books?
The ones with all the fables in it.
Not sure that was any more specific.
Bring the first 3.
Agreed.
Be back in a few minutes.
Agreed.
He knows the ones I'm talking about. There's bound to be information on her here. Somewhere. We'll at least be able to get her real name from the books whenever Buffkin finds them. In the meantime, poke around. Maybe the mirror can help. I really have to get this appointment squared away, but let me know if you need anything. Hello, Vivian?
Yeah, I like that it's Ichabod. It's really cool that there's a lot of like characters that you wouldn't necessarily expect.
After the genie's been freed.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm impressed that I actually remember any of these. Like the fact that I remembered Ichabod Crane. I haven't seen Sleepy Hollow in decades, really.
Hey, Magic Mirror. I got a question.
You know the rule.
I don't have time for this shit.
Your impatience is callow. You're needlessly cruel, but have some respect for our history rules.
Mirror, mirror. If you're able, tell me all about this fable.
See? Was that so hard?
Yeah, I'm about 2 seconds away from kicking a hole in you.
There's no need for that.
I don't know the monkey. I might be wrong.
Which fable do you wish to know?
But my guess is it's one of the monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
I don't know her name. Not yet, anyway.
Well, until
I did a long time ago.
I can't help you.
Show me Snow White.
It's an Oz monkey? Okay, I thought so.
Not much of a request. She's in this very room.
Hello, Ultranite. How are you?
Show me the woodsman. Where is he?
What you see is complete. The woodsman stumbles down a street.
No shit. Which street?
I'm sorry, Bigby. I can only show you what can be seen.
Show me Buffkin.
I'm good, Ultranite.
Hey,
I'm good.
Put down the bottle and get to work.
Still looking.
Show me Snow again.
Show me Snow White.
Not much of a request. She's in this very room.
Bro, she's hot. Give me, you know, some wingman help here.
Nobody right now.
Very well. Please return should you wish to ask about someone else. Or someone new.
Really, Night Owl? Huh, I had no idea.
Well, I'm sure we'll get it all cleared up. Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, classic Disney shorts were so good. They're my favorite. This is Wolf Among Us. It's all fairy tale characters.
Tarot cards. Jack brought them back from Appalachia. Who knows where they were before then? Or what he did to get them. Strength. I guess it comes in all forms.
We'll start with these. Any information on fables in our community will be somewhere in these books.
Yeah, and apparently isn't the Wizard of Oz part of a series like very similar to Narnia, or like Hunger Games is more like one long story, but like Narnia, how it's like a snippet of different stories all in the same universe. I think it's the same thing with with Oz, isn't it? Like there's one that's only about the wizard and his adventure, and the Wizard of Oz that turned into the movie was like the second or third book. It wasn't even the first. Isn't that the case? I think that's the case.
Colin and his brothers. Beast.
Probably Eth. I don't know. I don't know.
I think her name was Red. She didn't.
I don't know anything about the Witcher books. I've never seen any of them.
Red Riding Hood's knight in shabby armor.
The woodsman?
Yep, and his axe.
Dorothy and the Wizard. Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And there's me. Not a good day.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be me.
Ichabod Crane. Scared shitless.
What's that?
Your boss. His finest moment. Hard to understand how he ended up running this place.
Wait, that exits the book. I wanted to see the other ones.
Maybe it's time that changed.
Okay, thank goodness. That's her right there. You can see the ring, see? But anyways, continue with these. Oh, these are the animals.
Haven't seen Badger around for a while.
He likes his privacy.
I can't remember what this fairy tale is called, but yeah.
Nice hat.
It's Swiper from Dora. Swiper, no swiping.
Beauty in happier days.
The Wind in the Willows, yes. All I think of is it The Simpsons? Where the one guy's talking about he wants to start an acting career. And they're like, dude, you've never acted in anything. I was in The Wind in the Willows. And he's like, yeah, you were a tree. I was the willow. Or is that Rugrats? It might have been Rugrats. It might have been Rugrats.
Yeah, dwarves. Less said about that, the better. I've seen this before. This symbol on the man's clothes, it's the same as the rings.
Could be her father or husband. This has most of the emblems of the old days and usually what family they come from. If it's in here, we'll have her name.
Right? It's like, oh, little Timmy is the worst actor I've ever seen in my life. We'll make him a tree. Okay, that's great. Don't worry, the tree's really important. And your job is to sit still and don't say a thing. Show us your acting prowess by not moving. Oh, man. Although the irony is I did a show where I was the lead character, and there was a part where there was a whole scene that took place. It was 2 scenes that took place, and I wasn't involved in either of the scenes, but the way the director wanted it, rest her soul now, the way that the director wanted it was that we never left the stage throughout the whole show, but there was nowhere for us to go that would make sense for these 2 scenes. It was me and one other character. And so what we ended up doing is both of us just stood in the back corners of the stage and just turned our backs and then just had to sit there. And the scenes were like 15 minutes long. Sitting there in complete silence and stillness for 15 minutes, that was a challenge. Little did they know, those poor little kids that were tree number 6 were actually very much challenged in having to be good at being a tree.
What?
It was very awkward.
Shit.
I can help.
Yeah, thanks.
We look out for each other.
Don't overdo it. Buffkin, translate.
An exquisite design from the good china of Toad Hall.
Mr. Toad?
He probably wrote this in himself.
What's it say about that?
It says Bricklebit in an older elvish hand.
What's Bricklebit?
A magic word.
What's it do?
Makes animals shit gold.
Do you count, dude? You're half monkey. You're like a monkey bat. Are you gonna poop out gold now?
It reads, Mark of the House of the Frog Prince.
Not quite who I'm looking for.
That is a scary looking monster. Yes, the murder weapon.
This looks familiar.
Yes, from the Axe of the Woodsman, a druid blessing, actually.
Someone blessed that thing.
I only translate.
It is.
This is the one. Where's this symbol from? Which family or story?
That's an odd one. Family name? Alerlyrao? I'll go look it up.
Alelyra. That means every kind of fur in German.
Donkey skin.
Yes. What does it say?
Donkey skin girl, also known as donkey skin, also known as ass skin, prefers to go by the name Faith. Poetic?
Buffkin, we don't need the commentary.
The story of Donkey Skin. There was once a great king with a beautiful queen. The queen grew ill and had her husband promise to only marry the most beautiful girl in the kingdom. After a long search, it became clear that the only woman in the land that could match her beauty was... his daughter, Faith.
Ew. Gross. What is up with these fairy tales, man?
The skin of her father's prized donkey that would hide her beauty so she could escape his kingdom. Eventually, she married a prince who could see past the magic cloak and knew her true beauty. And they lived happily ever after. Should I mark it, Miss Snow?
Yes. Please. And what's her husband's name?
Lawrence. Prince Lawrence.
We got what we came for.
Yeah.
Her name's Faith. She was married to Prince Lawrence.
That is true,
I mean,
Night Owl.
that's more than
Her
we...
name was Faith.
Yeah.
All the stories are always so messed up. Like, doesn't Sleeping Beauty like get pregnant and everything before she wakes up?
You think he did it?
With this sort of thing, it's usually the person who knew them best.
Or it's someone completely random.
Imagine your name being Ass Skin. That's so funny. But yeah, if you guys haven't actually watched like the Brothers Grimm's or read the original Brothers Grimm stories, they're dark. They're grim. Pun fully intended. They're very grim. Like in the original Pinocchio, Pinocchio kills Jiminy Cricket. Wait, I'm one to talk. What did I say that... What did I say? Because I totally stand behind thirsting over Snow White. I'm totally into the dark hair, light eyes thing. Dark hair, light eyes, or redheads. Those are like my kryptonite, man. They could have, Night Owl. That someone got her. There's a very big difference between raping a woman who is passed out unconscious and thinking someone's hot. There's a giant difference. That's not even on the same book. Okay. I don't know what they told me to do. What were they telling me to do? Oh. Mr. Cortman, hello, how's it going? We were just talking about how the Brothers Grimm stories are very dark. And like if you ever...
Just what the fuck is this supposed to mean?
Oh, maybe it's fortune. Like fortune telling. How they're really dark. And then I was saying how Sleeping Beauty in the original tale gets pregnant and has a baby. And like before she ever even wakes up. And so then someone said, I'm one to talk, like me. I'm one to talk. Because I've been thirsting over Snow White for the last half hour. Because Snow White is a friggin' fox in this game. So then what I was saying is, me saying a dude raping a sleeping woman like in the original story of Sleeping Beauty, is very different than me saying Snow White is hot. Like, it's not even close to being the same. I don't know what they told me to do though. Wait, can I talk to the mirror now? Can it tell me something different? Briar Rose? Huh. Okay, I didn't know that fact. Yeah, there's so many misunderstandings or like missing pieces from these old stories, and a big part of it is Disney. They've really swapped out the stories a lot, or like they've conglomerated multiple stories into one story, and then nobody knows the originals anymore. It's really interesting.
This means
Tarot is a backwards art. I wouldn't put too much stock in its wisdom, Bigby.
not when you've been so helpful.
Exactly. The wolf can get it.
Vision's muddy. I'm as clear as a window.
In case it gets you the special treatment. It might. It might.
Mirror, mirror, blah blah able, blah 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 about this fable.
Of which fable do you wish to know?
Tell me about the ass.
He's a prince, I think. Show me Prince Lawrence. What's he been doing?
Dead, he's not moving.
Where's what?
Do you know where Prince Lawrence lives?
If he's a prince, probably relocated in the South Bronx. Yellow building, red window shutters.
Red frames.
Yep, that's the one. I can take us there.
That's so funny because when I think of the Brothers Grimm tales, I'm thinking like 500-600 years old. But yeah, 200 sounds like it would be a lot more accurate. Yeah, it would be like we've seen well, not anymore, but there was a little while there a few years back where it was a resurgence of a bunch of these styles of fairy tales. It would be really interesting to see these retold, but with like the proper story, with the dark features, with like everything that was originally there, the weird like incestuous things and all that, so we could see what the actual stories were. Because yeah, a lot of these were dark. Like, weren't they originally not even kids' tales? They were just stories that were being told, kind of like movies or books in general. They were just tales.
Show me Faith's father, the old king.
I agree. Ultron, I agree. I think he's dead.
Guess that crosses him off the suspect list.
And the old king is dead too, so...
Show me Faith.
Through powerful magic, her whereabouts concealed. Unfortunately for you, these lips are sealed.
What?
These
Yeah.
lips are sealed. It's not my choice of phrasing, Bigby. It's simply the way this has to be.
Huh. Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. I heard it was like tacky but good. I want to see that.
We can use?
Yeah, that'll have to do for now.
Come on, we're going over there.
Has there been a Steamboat Willie movie as well, like a horror movie as well?
We have to get that.
I haven't heard of that one, if that's the case.
Hello, Woodland's business office. Yes, He is. Hold on. Bigby, it's for you.
Bigby, it's me,
Yeah.
Toad.
Wouldn't surprise me either.
You there?
Toad, got your glamour yet?
Yeah, it's fine. Bigby, shit. Listen, right, there's a bloke upstairs going through all the woodsman's things. Get over here, Bigby, before he... well, hang on. Oi, shit. Hey!
Oh.
What was that about?
Hard to say. Something going on over at Toad's place.
What about Faith's husband?
I don't know, I couldn't really tell. But he could be in trouble. And we should go there anyway to search her apartment. Toad might have to wait.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I honestly would not be surprised if they did do a Steamboat Willie horror movie. Honestly, I think it would be really interesting. Now, how they would do it, I don't know. Like, if they did a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style, like cartoon and reality, that'd be really cool.
I don't know, it's possible. Whoever it was, it didn't seem like Toad was happy to see.
It's like that new game that's going to be coming out. That's that art style, but it's a first-person shooter. I want to try that.
Could use some help, too.
Well, where to first?
Big, shit. Listen, right? There's a bloke upstairs going through all the woodsman's things.
You think he did it? What's her husband's name?
Lawrence. Prince Lawrence.
Well, we know Prince Lawrence is
Sounds
dead.
like
So.
he needs help right now. We can check in on Prince Lawrence after.
Okay. I'm not looking forward to breaking the news to him anyway.
Me too, Night Owl. Me too. I liked Space Jam 2. I don't remember it much anymore, but I do remember I loved it as a kid. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was one of my favorite movies. I love that cross reality thing.
Yeah. Looks worse in the day.
Is somebody up there?
That's not Toad.
Wait here.
I always wished that they would do a Roger Rabbit sequel. I grew up convinced Roger Rabbit was a real character that had his own TV series that I had never heard of, because all the other characters were known characters. And I don't even know if Roger Rabbit was a real character, but I've never found anything. But like, I always hoped there was more because I loved that movie. I thought that whole movie was amazing.
That's enough, all right? Just shut it!
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Night Owl. Pretty sure it was. Which is what made it even more exciting. And then even Bob Haskins, or whatever his name is, Hoskins, whatever, playing Eddie Valiant. Even he thought this movie was like pathetic, and then it turned out to be phenomenal. Because the whole idea sounds... Somebody else was supposed to be the detective, weren't they? And they turned it down because they thought it was going to be dumb.
That his son?
Toads, I think.
Be nice in there, okay?
All right, the pretty lady asked us. We're going to be nice. Be nice.
Hey, Toad. You in there? Bigby! And Miss White! Surely you didn't come all this way just for my bother? Sorry, Bigby. It's embarrassing to have to admit, but I thought there was someone else in Woody's place. There wasn't, though. Not when I checked. Nothing but a leaky drain pipe. Imagination must have got the best of me. So, you know, false alarm. Sorry for dragging Miss White into this.
There was someone, but they took off when we got here.
Is that right? I guess your dad's ears have a year or two left. Haven't gone totally to the dogs, eh?
Poor kid.
Are you all right?
He's fine, Miss White. Just stung his little toe. Better swimmer than walker, just like his dad.
Wanna...
So, I guess you'll be taking off now. No need to hang around here anymore. I mean, I'm sorry you came all the way here for nothing.
Someone was here, and something's going on. And just so this trip wasn't a complete waste of time, I'm gonna look around a bit before we leave, okay? The longer you talk, the longer this takes. So just
see you later,
stand over
Youthmaker.
there and shut
All right. I just don't want to waste your time, is all. Have a seat. Have a cup of tea. Whatever you like.
Phew. Grown-ups. Am I right? Hey, you know what? Flycatcher said you had a pretty awesome insect collection.
Oh,
I'd
absolutely,
really love to
Ultramate.
see it. Is it in your room?
It has a weevil.
Cool.
He's so cute.
Just mind the upholstery while you're looking for nothing.
Yeah, sure thing. How'd this happen?
Fucking hell. Damn thing must have fell off a table.
Uh-huh. The lamp just fell off the table.
Or the boy was faffing about, playing salts and saltfish. Who knows with the lad?
Don't be suspicious.
I need to get a
Don't
dust
be
paint one of these
suspicious.
days.
We'll talk to him in just a second. I feel like that's gonna cut us off from looking around at anything else. So I want to look around before I start being like, "Yo, what'd you do, bro?" Punch you in the face. Bonk you in the nose. That hurts.
You bleeding?
Why? Is that
Blood? Still fresh?
Oh, well, I cut me hand. Ran around like a tit trying to pick out a wrap. Must have got some on the furnishments. Lamp in pieces, blood on the wall. It's awful, I know.
Sounds painful.
Oi, don't you go mother-henning now. The wound didn't sit very long, you know. Perks of being a fable, I suppose. And a frog.
Okay, so these characters have like a healing power, I guess.
More blood?
No, just a clean space in the dust. Did you move something?
Maybe one of Junior's toys or something. I mean, who knows?
The lamp, you mean?
If you're gonna say something, out with it.
That broken lamp used to be here, right? Just tell me what happened.
Nothing happened, mate. Nothing! And why did the lamp have to be there, of all the blooming pointless inquiries? It's my own place. Don't you think I'll know what happens in it?
Because the lamp was always over here, Toad. It was over here, and now it's there. The space in the dust is from where you moved
I
it.
did some refiguring. Who fucking cares? Bloody hell, mate. Come on, get off with this.
I did some refiguring. It looks more beautiful over there. It's called feng shui.
There's some marks here, on the windowsill.
But like I said, Junior leaves his toys around all the time.
These don't look like they're from a toy.
Oh, well, just last night when I'd come out, I was in a downright tizzy, mate, as you would be. And I plumb forgot the keys to this place. And I had to climb in through the bloody window.
Really?
Scared Junior off to death.
He's not a very good liar. Pretty crappy liar, as a matter of fact. I feel like this fireplace poker has a few things it wants to poke. Maybe then he'll be able to talk.
And what happened here?
Press X for doubt.
Whoa.
More blood on the tip. Did this happen before or after you came in the window?
After. I was poking the coals and it slipped a bit. Sliced up in my foot like a seashell. Looked like a shit ugly thing. Okay, Sheriff, now what?
Wait, you dropped it on your foot? You told me before that you cut your hand.
Yeah, no, I did cut my hand. I cut my hand first, and that made me drop the damn thing on my foot. Ruinous flip of events, really.
Sad part is there are people that actually lie like this, and it's embarrassing to watch.
God, will you not make a big faff out of this? There's nothing to solve here, Sheriff. I'm telling you everything that happened. Why don't you believe me?
'Cause you're lying.
I mean, things happen, you know.
I think maybe you're hiding something.
Hiding something?
Maybe. But, to tell you the truth, I don't know yet. But I know you're lying about something.
But I'm not.
And you're just gonna make it worse for yourself the longer you keep up the act.
I'm not bullshitting you. Honest.
We'll see.
Although now you kind of ruined the proof, dude. You touched it, fingerprints, and all that is gone now. Good job, Bigby. Good job.
Never been good with the feminine duties. Homebody stuff with my clumsy hands.
We've already told him we know he's lying, so we'll try.
Look,
come clean.
You want me out of here? I want out of here. Just come clean. What's going on?
Place needs a little brooming, that's all.
All right, time to get tough. Tried to be nice.
I know something's off here, Toad. And I know you know I can't leave until I find out why. So can we please just skip to the end of the page before I have to get mean?
I don't know what you want, Bigby. There's nothing going on.
The lady did tell us to be nice, but...
There's just nothing to tell. Look around the room and see for yourself. Everything has its explanation, you'll see.
Honestly, Toad, I don't know if I will. And I don't know if I've got the patience to reverse engineer whatever scheme this is.
Me boy's in the other room, Bigby. Come on now. We're friends, right?
I was about to hit you. Your boy is in the other room.
Though most people think they are.
Uh-huh. How's it going?
Toad's hiding something, but I don't know what yet. Did the kid say anything?
No, nothing really. He was really upset, though, earlier. He won't say why. Something's going on.
Stay with the kid until I figure out what.
Okay, we'll try being nice one more time. Then if he won't go for it, then we're gonna have to hit him.
Toad, I know you're lying about the blood.
What do you mean? I'm not lying. I cut myself on the poker thing.
Come on, you said you cut your foot, you said you cut your hand, and that much blood? It's not adding up, buddy.
Alright, we tried. We tried. This game's giving us no choice.
Tell me what's up. Right now, you know what happens if you don't.
We've already been through this, mate. Bigby, look, I'm sorry, but there's just nothing to say. Now, please, think of my boy before you do something rash. Come on now.
I've tried.
We're friends, right?
Down, Jesus!
You're gonna tell me, right now, what the fuck happened before we showed up.
Bigby,
If it even has the faintest whiff of bullshit, I'm gonna...
Dad!
Bigby, is this really necessary?
Oh.
Maybe it's...
Dang it.
got away from me a bit.
Dad?
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Take off your hat.
There it is.
Bigby, you didn't...
He didn't. It was that butcher, a Tweedle, Dum or D. You gotta strip them down to their johnnies before you can tell which is which. He come bulging in, screaming about something the woodsman had. Or thought he had, I don't know. He tore up the place, beat me up when I said I didn't have it. I tried to go out the window, but he pulled me back in. It's been a hard morning, I can tell you that.
What was he looking for?
I feel bad for slapping him now, but he wouldn't tell us anything.
Sheriff. I would have told you. I wanted to, really, I did. But he said if word of this ever got back to him, if he ever thought you knew, or Miss White, he'd come back and kill my boy.
Hello, Bear the Square. How's it going?
Tried to give the bastard
How are
a
you?
coat. He wouldn't take it.
Whose coat?
The girl.
Dad borrows things from people who live here. Sometimes.
Borrows?
I don't steal nothing. Turn around here would astonish you, mate. I merely repossess what's been left behind.
Well, we'll be taking the coat now. If she has next of kin, family, anyone.
All right. Fetch him the fur.
Is it ass
Find
fur?
the address it is.
And no, I'm not trying to be funny. If you weren't here at the beginning. Oh, it's the hat she was wearing.
No, I wouldn't wear it outside.
Wait.
Must have been quite a while then. I've had hair for a couple of years now. A year and a half now. But it's nice to see you pop back in.
Fucking hell, of course there is. For my luck, it's a map to some bloody doubloons.
It's addressed to Prince Lawrence. Do you want to try and give it to him, or...?
Don't make it a dilemma.
Doesn't seem right opening another man's mail. Let's try and give it to him.
Okay.
Well, it's been quite a surprising day for all of us, hasn't it? I'd see you out, but I'm afraid of dripping any more blood in the place.
It was very nice talking to you, TJ.
Thanks. See ya.
I'll be honest, Bigby, I don't really know how to feel about what happened in there.
We got what we came for. Some information.
See, this is
You'll be all right.
this is where their weakness lies in this engine. The engine's an older engine. People criticize them for not moving. They didn't want to move off of it with the excuse of we want to have a specific look. My opinion is more that they were just lazy, but this is where the engine fails. You can see there in for a second where the NPC, like the character, had a neutral face, and then you saw it shift to anger, and it made no sense with the character because she's supposed to be upset with me, but she comes out beep beep beep. I don't know what I thought in there. So what? That was so inauthentic. This engine was definitely they were begging for way too much out of it. It just seemed kind of weird. I don't know. Not a fan of that.
So the princess
See,
now?
and now her face is neutral again.
Yeah, it's our best lead.
Our only lead, really.
Yeah, LA Noir was hilarious. So tell me what happened here. Nothing. I don't know what happened. It's just neutral face. I don't know what happened. What the? What?
I don't want to stay here any longer than we have to, so let's just pick an approach and stick to it, okay? Just humor me.
We're here to question Lawrence. Bump him up on the suspect list or cross him off entirely.
Okay.
What is it?
I just don't think he did it.
In cases like these, isn't it usually the husband?
For Mundy's, maybe, but this is different.
Exactly, Ultranite. Exactly. But we didn't see. This is again. This goes back to the lazy writing these guys have. Pick an approach. They didn't actually give us an approach. They just gave us 3 responses that weren't approaches. I say we have to question him, which is not an accusation. It's not saying I think he's guilty. It's just doing proper detective work of like questioning because he might know something. He might not be the one that did it. There's nothing that proves that he did it or even pointing that he did it. He just might know something. You know, maybe she had a fight with somebody and he might know who that was. Or maybe somebody has threatened her and he might know who that was. And then instantly it's like she disagrees. Not only does she disagree, but she's like, you know, I don't think he did it. I didn't say he did it either. All I was saying is we need to ask him some questions. That's it. Their writing is not very good at Telltale. Like, and this isn't, I'm not criticizing this game in particular. Telltale overall had really poor writers on their scripts, which makes me wonder why they got the praise they did. I do think their games are great, but their script writing is really weak.
Can you hear me?
Don't just peep into someone's house. Check if he's home.
There's no knock question. It's just walk in. I haven't played Elden Ring in over a year. Not only have I not played it, I've even made videos saying how much I hate Elden Ring. Yep. Eth, I think you called it with me, that he was dead.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive.
Go get Dr. Swinehart. I'll stay with him.
No, let me go.
I just think it's a shitty game. I hate it. I made a whole video on it. You can look it up. It's on my TikTok if you want to know why I hate it.
What is it that you're telling us? Bigby, water. Kitchen.
Yeah, Ultra, these characters have like it seems like they have magic powers that they don't die through regular injuries. It takes quite a bit to kill them, so it looks like it didn't kill him, so he's gonna be okay. He's gonna heal quick. Oh, it was you that said you thought he was dead. Okay, okay.
If you have something to ask him, you should do it now.
Maybe he won't survive this.
Who did this to you?
One of the Tweedles? Oh. Dang it, we got nothing out of him.
Do you still have that letter?
Yes.
Should I open it? I'm not sure if it's right.
You should. There might be something that helps us. A clue or a lead.
I need to know.
What does it say?
Yeah.
Sorry. Faith.
He's got to stay awake just long enough for us to get
Only
there.
2 words, but he died without seeing them. I'm sorry too. We need to figure out what happened here and find whoever did this.
So I take it in this universe, they can die from the same injuries we could die from, but they can heal faster than we can, so they can... As long as the injury wouldn't kill them, they would heal? Is that what I'm getting from this? Because like an axe to the head is pretty much a death sentence. But you can survive it. You would just have a lot of brain damage. It would take a really long time to heal. I'm assuming because they're magic, that doesn't apply. But then this guy died from a smack to the side of the head. So like, I don't know. I'm confused with the lore behind this. I'm hoping that it is all gonna stay sensical.
Bullet passed through the chair.
He got shot in the head. Okay.
Yeah. The angle works if he shot himself.
But they have some powers from the
When
book.
do you think
Okay.
it was taken?
Before all this.
Grim, how's it going, man? How have you been? Yeah, he had a hole in his head.
Strange. Hard edge to this pool, like something was here and got moved.
The more well-known you are, the harder it is to die. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. That's at least... That would at least justify these things, because so far it's either there is some justification I haven't figured out yet, or it's just poor writing. I hadn't decided, but that would at least fit within the world. Nice, man. The routines are always so hard to get into, so I'm glad that you found a routine that's working, man.
What is it?
This gun wasn't fired recently. Maybe a week ago. Or more.
Okay.
Fingerprints?
They'll be on the grip and the trigger.
I do like that this game has a reason for the really poor decisions that a lot of other games would make. Like they would do that whole like, this gun hasn't been shot in a week, and they just magically know it without any tests. Here at least he sniffs and it's like, oh, he's a wolf. He'll be able to sniff like when this last thing was shot. You don't know how strong his smell is because he's not a regular wolf, he's a magic wolf. So it's like at least that works. And I'm not saying criticism for this. I'm talking about other games where in other games you're like, how the hell did you know that, dude? How do you know that this gun wasn't shot for a week? You just looked at it. Here it's like, no, he's a magic wolf. He can smell that and know how long it's been.
What are they?
Prescription sleeping pills.
Yeah, like I had a hard time getting stuck, like getting used to my new routine, and I didn't have kids to try to help adjust to a new routine, let alone kids with special needs who need to get adjusted to new routines. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So you should be very proud that you've found your new routine and stuff, man.
Paperbacks, old encyclopedias.
Magic Wolf to the rescue.
No one's read these in a while.
Oh, I would hate living in this. Oh no, that's a TV, isn't it? I was gonna say, if you can hear your neighbors like that, I would hate living in this apartment. I could barely read what it was saying. Pay the rent next week. Pizza in the fridge. Please don't look for me. Goodbye. Oh, okay. What's in the closet? Oh my god, that scared me.
Stay here.
That scared me.
No.
Good on you, Snow. Don't listen to him.
Hey, stop!
You're pretty badass, so you keep up, Snow.
Leave me alone!
Oh. I'm just gonna leave the guy that got injured there. No big deal. This one. Oof. Right in the face. Ow! Dang it. Oof.
Hey!
It really does.
We're on the same side here.
You son of a bitch. Make me run after you.
Now, I still haven't picked up on the glamour thing yet. But yeah, the
Why
art
did you
choice
run?
for each character really fits their fairy tale.
Why did you run?
Fuck, man. Because you chased after me. The fuck was I supposed to do?
We didn't chase after you. You opened the door and you ran.
I know how it looks, but I had nothing to do with that.
Bullshit. You're covered in blood.
Look, I was just asking him about the girl. That's all. When I mentioned her being dead, he freaked out. I figured someone had told him. How was I supposed to know? Shit. Fucker shot himself right in front of me. I couldn't stop him, man.
How did you know she was dead?
You're looking for the woodsman, right? I know where he is. My guy says he's holed up at the Trip Trap. We can go over there right now, the both of us. My employer's looking to ask him a few questions too.
What were you doing back there?
Checking out the guy who was married to the girl. Seemed a good place to start. Tracking down leads.
What kind of leads?
Oh, I can't tell you that. It's confidential. Sorry. Sure you understand.
Nope. Can't say that I do. Come on, you're coming with me.
Glamour's like the cloak that allows fables to exist in who are all being noticed. Okay, okay. And glamour costs money, so glamour equals drug. Okay. Okay. That's a really cool way to justify weird animals and talking frogs to exist in this world. I was getting the idea that it was a cloak, and that it was just expensive, so it was like the rich people can use it. But no, saying that it's like drugs makes sense. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Yeah, he didn't clean the blood off him, right?
Could have been easy.
Don't worry. It still is.
Come on.
Dumb.
Dumb? Yeah, it is. Look, it'd be much easier for you
No, I'm D. He's dumb.
There's another trope from the
Looked peaceful.
Telltale games. have someone cornered, and then you get knocked out.
Except you're
Happens at
lying
least
in
once
a
a
dirty
chapter.
alley. With an open wound on the back of your head.
What happened?
Well, the one guy hit you, then the other one started kicking you.
Explains the ribs.
Then they jumped into a car and drove off. Come on, get up. Guess we're out of options.
Dee mentioned the trip trap.
Then that's where we'll go. I'll call a cab.
Man, they need to make more movies like this. More like noir style movies. I would totally be in. I would totally be in if they made more like this.
Every time I think I'm getting a handle on what's going on, things just get more complicated. It feels like we're always a step behind.
The woodsman is the only lead we've got, and he was one of the last people to see Faith alive. Getting some answers out of him will start to clear things up.
I hope you're right. Bigby? Be honest with me. Who do you think did this? I know it's still early, but I just feel a step behind.
Why do they keep bringing up Bluebeard or whatever? We haven't even talked to that guy.
Afraid of someone. I need to find out who. Might be whoever she was working for. There's still a lot of questions.
I haven't even heard of that one, Night Owl.
Figure out what he knows, and go from there.
Makes sense. That's probably the best approach.
I agree, Aldernite. It's like I'm getting my butt handed to me, and she's like, "No, please don't. Don't hurt him." Oh. Then we wake up. I tried to help you, but like they were so tough. She's like eating chips in the background.
Thanks
I
for
wish
you.
there was.
Oh, do we feel sexual tension?
Sorry.
I know I would.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's nothing. I just.
This was an 80s movie. This would be the part where she turns to him and they start making out.
Fables that are struggling
And that
worse
cheesy,
than
almost
our
pornographic music plays in the background.
We pay so much attention to the residents of the woodlands. You forget there's a whole community out there to serve. To have to turn to prostitution. I wish there was more we could do. This isn't how I thought it would be. But Crane runs things his own way.
You're doing your best. It's all anyone can do.
Obviously, you don't know what I do all day. Right now, I'm the gatekeeper, making sure none of these disenfranchised folks are, as he puts it, wasting his time.
You'll fix it.
Gaming dude, hello. I've never actually played
The
this.
broken system. The fables who walk in through the back door like Bluebeard, we have all the time in the world for them. You try and come in through the front door, through the proper channels, asking for anything, needing help. Well, I turn you away.
So far I'm really enjoying this whole take on the fairy tale thing. It's very interesting.
Now things are worse off than they've ever been.
And I'm hoping that the new Telltale is not going to be disappointing with their release of this. I hope that they
Had it worse, but
can carry the candle.
maybe this isn't for me. I thought public service was pure. A way to help.
You should get out of there. If it's as bad as you say it is, maybe there are better ways to get things done outside of the system.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a consensus that this is their crowning achievement.
Never took you for a quitter.
We're not talking about me.
And it is quite good. It is quite good. It does have some of the typical
Maybe you
Telltale
should name this
failures,
one.
but it's very creative, very interesting.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Bigby. Just be careful, please.
The same goes for you.
I will.
Yeah, me too. Because, you know, none of the original Telltale people are involved. So there's the risk it'll go one or the other. Like, I feel like it's not going to be the same. So either it'll be better or it's going to be far worse. Just because it is a whole new set of people, new owners, new everything. But I'm hoping this will give them a chance to kind of approach this with fresh eyes and make it interesting without those same pitfalls of the get knocked out every chapter. Of the decision not meaning anything because they're just going to jump to the same conclusion whether or not it makes sense.
I was in the neighborhood. Thought I'd pop in and say hello.
Well, fucking hello. Now you can get the fuck out of here.
Look, I'm not even gonna ask where he is now, okay? I just want to know the last time he was here. That's all.
Who?
I'm being nice, so try again.
He hasn't been here for a few weeks. No, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, he hasn't been here in a while, if he's been here at all, which... I don't know.
Why do you keep looking at this guy?
I'd just like some help, and I'll be out of here.
Well, I'd be willing to help you out of here. Would that help?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like these games, although they have weaknesses and lazy writing for parts of it, and fall into the trap of the same tropes, that's not to say these games are bad. That's just more of a point to the owner. Because everything that I've seen about their downfall, about Telltale falling apart and basically being destroyed, was really down to the owner having like jealousy over what the other devs were doing. One of the owners, because it was 3 guys I think that established it, but 2 of them did the games. The other guy did like the more business side of it, and he was jealous that they were getting all the fame and recognition while he was kind of getting ignored, even though he was just as much owner as they were. And then he started to like demand more work at a quicker pace, and a bunch of games one after another. So it just turns into a dev mill rather than being creative anymore. So that's more of the issue. There are definitely weaknesses, but yeah, you can't tell this is an 11-year-old game. I think the first Walking Dead was like 15 years, 14 years, something like that. And it still holds up really well. Some of the mechanics feel a little bit dated with like the quick time events and it kind of being weird to play, controls being a little bit stiff or whatever, but it doesn't feel like if they release this game today, it would still feel like it's up to date because the art style is timeless, which was a really great choice. So I am excited to see what they do with this game because who knows, right? It could turn out to be a garbage heap, but there's a really good chance of reviving these styles of games yet again and keeping them interesting as long as they don't overdo it. That's the big thing, is don't overdo it.
Come on. Have you seen the woodsman around? I don't know who that is. Big guy, beard, flannel, kind of a shitbag. Hard to miss. You sure you don't know him? How about I buy you a drink? How about you keep your drink and piss off?
Oh, you gotta love the tough guys.
Whose is that?
Someone who left.
Someone like the guy I'm looking for?
No, I'm telling you. I haven't seen him for a couple days.
Friggin' TikTok is going like there's no sound.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The one with the bald head and the beard.
Never seen him.
It's It's my favorite in movie writing. Never seen them, except take the picture and it's right there. Hello, Jonesette. How's it going? Welcome. How are you?
A lot of these walk out the door?
Yeah, it's called advertising.
You get a refund?
Fuck you. The word's getting out.
You'll never guess where I found the other one of these.
No, I won't.
His place.
Let me solve the mystery for you.
Pickled
They're
eggs.
Pickled eggs.
Oh, I know what they are. I'm just trying to figure out why anyone would eat this.
I have always wondered the same thing. So many shows show a bar that has pickled eggs, and I just feel like pickled eggs would be really gross. I don't know. I feel like they would be really gross. Has anybody had pickled eggs?
Damn.
Just trying to pull out my stream. Just want to make sure everything's running okay.
In this place. You got a problem, friend? I don't like you, and now you're sitting right next to me. You could ask me to move.
You gonna order something? Or you just here to bother my customers?
All these customers.
You know what I mean.
Give me a Midas gold.
You want a lime?
No.
Well, I don't got any anyway.
Think that's funny? Yep. Think it's fucking hilarious.
This is an 80s movie. You take the glass, smash it in his face.
This is serious, Holly. Harboring a fugitive is gonna get you in as much trouble as he's in. You could lose everything.
Oh. Uh-oh. I hope your fists have healed, Wolf. We about to have a fight.
Holly, you're out of paper towels and...
Woodsman, long time no see. How are you, friend? I was trying to invite you to my birthday party. You've been avoiding me.
Number 1 or number 2? For your sake, I hope it was 2. Otherwise, you're probably shitting your pants right now.
You and me been going at it for hundreds of years. I'm through fighting.
Well, Woody, that makes 2 of us. You're in luck. I decided to switch seats. Last fella put his hand on me, ended up with an axe in his head.
Last fella I put my hand on ended up in the ground.
Okay, Gren.
It's funny. Just a minute ago, no one seemed to know who you were.
Yeah, well, everyone knows you. Big bad wolf. Now I'm the bad guy and you're sheriff. Kind of fucking world is that, huh?
Come on, Woody. You know why I'm here.
You want to know what happened?
Amongst other things, sure.
It's funny. The shit you're willing to do for money. I'd walk past her place for weeks. She didn't look like it. She had money. I was sure of it. She wouldn't put up any kind of fight. I was gonna
finally get up the nerve to do it. There you are, fucking things up for me. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
What are you talking about exactly?
Red Riding Hood, her grandmother. I was there to rob him. But when I showed up, you were already there. Lying in the bed. I only saved
Just
you.
chalk hello.
I thought you might give me a reward. But she didn't give me shit. Except a bunch of people thinking I'm something I ain't. I played along as I could. Only thing I managed to get from it was a free drink every now and again. Not a good that did.
I already know this story, Woody.
You should. You were there.
I'm not talking about Red Riding Hood. I'm here about Faith. She was murdered.
What? Faith? Who's that?
The girl you were beaten on this morning.
No. I was here. I swear.
It doesn't look good when a girl you were just smacking around shows up dead hours later.
I've never played this game, just chalk, so I'm enjoying it so far.
Bigby, listen, I'm a piece of shit, okay? I know that. I hit that girl, I did. I shouldn't have, but I didn't kill her. You believe me, right?
Yeah, I genuinely don't think it was him.
They're gonna string me up, Bigby. Like you said, it looks fucking bad. It looks really bad, but I didn't do it.
He was here. That's the fucking truth, Sheriff.
You see? Bigby, please. You can't. They'll throw me down the witching well. That's what they'll do. And I didn't do it. You know that. Hey, stop! This isn't what I want.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Woody! Shit ain't just about you. It's about this fucking lapdog. Only comes sniffing around this part of town when the rich fucks in the woodlands need a shakedown. Ain't that right, Bigby? It's not like that. There are problems with the way things go, I get it. But that's got nothing to do with what's happening right now. Holly's sister goes missing. No one gives two shits about her. Paperwork, waiting rooms, and that bitch Snow White looking right past me, then ushering me out the fucking door. I wouldn't call her that. It's happened before, and it doesn't end well. I didn't realize you were the bitch of the bitch. That all you got? Seemed to be enough. Don't be so sure.
There we go.
Oh, good.
Who the hell is this?
Should have walked out of here when you had the chance.
Come on, you're scaring the lady.
Don't worry about me.
So this goes back to the same really lazy writing these guys have, because nothing gave me any option except for this to happen, and none of it was actually making sense with what was going on around us. Uh-oh. Okay, so I've seen the Beowulf movie, but I don't actually know the Beowulf story. And the movie, I saw it when it first came out, the one with Angelina Jolie and stuff, so I don't actually remember what it was. So I don't remember Grendel.
He's had enough.
Yeah, I remember him being a monster, and that's all I remember. I more remember... Was it a dragon? I don't know. I can barely remember, actually.
Whiskey. Double. Shit.
It's not like you were gonna pay for it anyway.
Don't even think about it.
Is this the type of treatment I can expect if I let you take me in?
Hey, he started it.
You hit him first!
Yeah, but he was being an asshole.
Alright, I got $100 for the first bloke that can tell me something about a girl named... Fuck.
Crap, I don't know who to go for. I'm gonna say the huntsman doesn't know anything. These guys do. I mean, they don't actually know anything, but I need to know what the hell's going on with these guys. And they beat me up.
That's not necessary. Shit. He's the one you want, not me.
Your brother won't be saving you this time. Come on. You're under arrest.
I told you I didn't do it.
And you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, he's kind of like Wolverine for sure. See what I mean? The writing is lazy in this game. Like, the dude was acting all sad and he was all upset and everything, and the answers I was giving were along the lines of like, dude, I'm not accusing you, but like, you need to tell me what the hell's going on. Then that guy picked the fight for no reason, and the game didn't give you an option, so the fight didn't make sense because I didn't say anything to accuse him or insult him. It was like, dude, come on. They kind of tried to force it with, well, the rich folk and you guys don't care about us and blah, blah, blah. But it was just very unjustified. And then the way she was acting all scared about the drink and everything, and then she has the guts to say you weren't going to pay for it anyway. If she's scared, she wouldn't have the guts to say that. If she has the guts to say that, she wouldn't be scared. And so again, the writing is just very forced, but not in a good way. So I would argue the game is not only not one of the best games ever, it's not a well-written game, so it's not a particularly phenomenal game. It's a good game. I'm enjoying it. But I definitely wouldn't agree that it's one of the best games ever. Not even like top 10 best games ever. But it is very creative. It's just these guys do not know how to write scripts that line up with what their own inner story would be.
Do anything stupid, and I'll throw you down the witching well myself.
Oh, what happened now? This may not be chapters. This is really long. Come on. Just like Walking Dead. Again, another one of their tropes. Someone you start to like, they end up being killed. Which I do like. I like that they aren't willing to hold any punches back.
Very special.
I know, the love of my life is gone. Here I was thinking we were going to romanticize her.
Brother. Fuck you. Give me one good reason I should tell you anything.
Serial killer.
Oh my. A serial killer? Oh God, and it's one of us?
Wait, the woodsman's still walking the streets.
We've got to put a lid on this. If you can't manage it, I'll find someone who can.
It's a lot of talking for a guy who's scared of a jack-o'-lantern, man.
I know she's here. You must have seen her. What are the two of you hiding?
Thanks for not saying anything.
Doesn't matter. Maybe you just want to punish someone. We can arrange that.
Lauren.
What did you do?
Friend on friend. At the end of the end.
Jesus Christ, baby. Is that you?
Story is very, very tight. Like, it's intriguing. It pulls you in. Some player choices. Did I give Faith my money? 84% of us gave her money. We all gave in to the beautiful, mysterious woman. 59% lied. Okay, at least I was in the majority with that one. 69% went to help Toad. What happened to Prince Lawrence? Did not prevent... You can prevent his death? Wild. I didn't know that. Me and 22% of players pointed the finger at Faith's pimp. Oh, okay, I was gonna say, who the hell is this guy? I'm assuming this is Bluebeard. I don't even know who the hell that is. Yeah, and like it works really well. It works really, really well. I've been criticizing this game, but it's more of the. Again, I said it a bit earlier. It's more a consequence of the leadership of the original Telltale and how the dude was kind of like trying to make this a mill where he was just putting out game after game after game, and they fell into the same tropes. So the games are great. They have very, very predictable tropes. They're just like, oh, okay, I can tell what's going to happen just based on the character format. Because they literally just made a cookie cutter and then just swapped out the skins on the character. And the same things happen. The scripts are different, the storyline's different, but the same main points happen in the story. They're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I figured that much. But yeah, no, this works really well for this format of gameplay. I actually prefer it for this format than Walking Dead. When it came down to The Wire, you and 68% of players went for Tweedledee. Okay, at least I was in the majority for almost all of it. Your leftover's gonna be sore soon. Well, you can go get your groceries because I'm gonna stop now because I'm almost at 3 hours. 3 hours is usually my peak because I had to go make dinner and dishes and all that kind of stuff. It was good, Heathmaker. It was good. Same typical issues that exist with Telltale games. Same lazy writing that's in all Telltale games. But it was really, really good. They did a really great job of doing something unique with something very well known. And what Lauren said, it's much, much more well suited to this gameplay. Like the Telltale style is much more suited to this gameplay than it was to The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was great, don't get me wrong. But having a mystery makes more sense for the slow action, the slow decision making, the timed decision making was a lot more of it fits better in this type of like murder mystery type of game. I can see why this game is the best one that they've made. It definitely suffers from the typical Telltale weaknesses, but it was really good. It was really, really good. I actually prefer this to The Walking Dead as far as like this gameplay working with this story. Was it really, Lauren? I didn't know that. Huh. That's something new I didn't know. Well, that makes me stand corrected. At the same time, it's well-known enough characters that you can come in not knowing, like I didn't, and finish it without being aware that the comic exists. Because the world is so kept within itself. You know what I mean? I'm assuming you didn't see the very ending, Ethmaker. Muted if you don't want a spoiler. Gonna be muted for a couple seconds. Okay? Snow White is dead. So, no, that would be called necrophilia. But yeah, so I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. My criticisms are all about Telltale's format and not about the game story or anything. The story is really well done. The story is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm kind of bummed out that it's only one season or one game. I'm hoping if each chapter is like 2.5, 3 hours, then not 3 hours because I'd started like 20 minutes in. So 2.5 hours? That's not bad. You know, if it's 4 chapters in this game, is it 4 or 5? I don't know, but even if it's 4, that's what? 10 hours? That'll be good. That'll be good. Yeah, no worries, Preston. It's pretty good. I think you'll enjoy it. It's very fun. Yeah, Lauren, they've talked about number 2 being in the works. There hasn't been... I know they were talking about it right as Telltale was going out of business. And then they declared... They had a release date, and then they declared bankruptcy and never said what was going to happen with this. And then the date was updated to 2024, and the news of a new company taking over Telltale and all new staff. And so, as far as I know, nobody really knows if it's actually still coming up, but they updated the date, so probably, but there hasn't been an update on the game. So, I mean, it could be like some of the other ones where it's like, yeah, it's still coming up, but now we're restarting and it's going to be totally different than what this is. Hopefully, it'll follow the same line, and having new writers, new staff, new devs, all that kind of stuff is going to make it get rid of some of the weaknesses that Telltale had. But there's always the risk that with all new writers, new leadership, it's going to be much worse than what Telltale did. So I'm not going to get excited about number 2, because if it doesn't come out, then there's no point in getting excited. But if it does come out, it could still be a disappointment. So I'm going to hold my breath. And that's my worry, Ethmaker, is that when it's a new company that's taking on a company that has failed but is beloved, a lot of the time they're holding on to the name with the hope that nostalgia will be able to turn them into something for easy profits down the line. But I'm hopeful that that won't be the case, because, I mean, we've seen what's happened with, I don't remember what they're called. THQ? Is it THQ? What's it called? Yeah, THQ. THQ Nordic. THQ was super popular back in like the early 2000s, and then the business fell apart, and then they got bought. I don't know if they got bought by Nordic or they got bought by somebody else and merged with Nordic or something, but THQ Nordic is a whole new company that bought all the assets from THQ, and now they've been releasing all these old games with like relaunches or just remasters or brand new series within that name, and they've all been phenomenal. And people have been really impressed with what THQ has been doing. So I'm hopeful that that's what will happen here. But they were not the rule. They were the exception. So who knows? You know? Who knows? I don't even know what Grim Dawn is. Yeah, Ethmaker, I've heard of that theory. And it seems to kind of hold some water, you know? They have said it won't address any of one's cliffhangers. That, yeah. I mean, I haven't played this, so I can't speak about it. Yeah, Preston, because that's the only other option. This game and then Life is Strange. there's no other options. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't actually heard of that. I got to look that up. I liked Titan Quest. I thought Titan Quest was good. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. I haven't heard of that. That would be really interesting. As far as relicense their own engine, huh? That is very interesting to see what that would be like. Let's see what that would be like. I was gonna say something else and now I forgot. But yeah, we'll see. Because knowing that they've said they're not going to address cliffhangers, there's two options. Because again, I haven't played this, so I don't know what's going to happen. But it could be something as simple as they can't address the cliffhangers because based on your decisions, those cliffhangers may or may not exist. That could be a thing. I don't know. At the same time, if it's like a proper cliffhanger where like the story was like in the next thing they should be answering this and they're not going to address it, then what that could point to is that they are really going to go their own way with it, and that almost adds more credibility to the fact that this is probably going to go down a bad path and number 2 will probably be a disappointment. I hope not, you know, I hope not. We'll see what happens. Yeah, please don't, because I would love to be caught off guard, you know. Like a tantalizing lead. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully it'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll be good. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm trying not to get excited just because when big shifts like this happen, things can easily fall apart, but they can also be a pleasant surprise like what THQ has done with a lot of their games. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Man, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. Same as usual, ETHmaker. Stream today, stream on Friday. If nothing ends up happening, maybe I will stream on Wednesday. Maybe. I have to get out my new Minecraft video. I was sick over the weekend. I was hoping to edit over the weekend, but I was really sick, so I didn't. Which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make some dinner, and then I'm going to work on editing the video. So maybe I'll stream. It kind of depends. I know Kendra is not working Wednesday, so she may want to hang out on Wednesday. I don't have a voice lesson this Thursday, so that's the plan. I don't know yet. I have no idea. And yeah, Lauren, that's exactly it. It's like a lot of people get the mistake that the devs are to blame for what happens, but most of the time, I'd say 75% of the time, maybe even up as high as 90% of the time, the really horrible decisions in gaming are due to publishing and the CEOs. Because they're trying to irk every single penny out of their property as they can, and they're trying to get it done in a stupid timeline. And so even though the devs could do a really good job, if they're told they have 1 year to get it done in, they're gonna have to cut corners and then the game starts to suffer. Or they could be saying like, I don't think it's a good idea to put in this like money transactional thing. But the CEO's like, no, you need that extra money. You want your bonus, don't you? And, you know, then they have to do it. And then what happens? Nobody talks about Bobby Kotick being a scumbag or whatever the guy's name is from Gearbox being a scumbag. They all talk about Gearbox being bad. And it's like, no, the devs at Gearbox are great. It's the owner of Gearbox that ruins it. It's Bobby Kotick that's ruined Call of Duty by having to repeat Call of Duty every single year rather than letting the devs take 4 or 5 years to do it. You know, and it's the frustration that really sucks because the devs are the ones that are ultimately going to be blamed because they did make the game. Yeah, it's frustrating. Tara, how's it going? How are you?
Is it possible for Popeyes to make boneless wings even better? You betcha. Popeyes.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Like you need a CEO because you need somebody at the head to point the company in the right direction. the issue really comes down to what the hell is it called? It comes down to economics, but it comes down to the thing that's business, supply, demand, that thing. I can't remember what the word is right now. It comes down to that, because greed is what drives these decisions, right? Like, Bobby Kotick knows that if this company failed, he still had a golden parachute. He was still worth multi-millions of dollars. So if they failed, he still didn't fail. He was still going to be perfectly fine. And he would have enough money and enough clout in his name for having owned this company that he could just start a new company and it'd be fine. Whereas, like, it doesn't mean that the position of CEO is bad. It's the greed behind it that makes it bad. And that's what really sucks. And that's what usually ends up happening, is you get somebody who actually doesn't know anything about video games, doesn't have any passion about video games, but they're in charge because they have a lot of money. And people associate money with success. And economics, no, but not economics. It's a different word. It's a different word. Am I watching a Popeyes ad? It's Spotify. It's Spotify that plays the ads. And so it's that, but it's not economics. It's oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, it's the free market, but there's a specific name for it. There's a specific name for it that people misinterpret for meaning something else. Capitalism. That's the word. Capitalism. It's capitalism. It's basically the if you work hard enough you'll succeed, except capitalism's bullshit. But it's it's really the anything is worth it as long as you make an extra dollar from it. It's really what capitalism comes down to. And so that's what destroys all of this, right? It's we don't care that the game's gonna be worse. We're gonna make more money in the long run because of it. And we don't care that the people who care about this are going to get hurt in the process, because those couple of whales that'll give us all the extra money is the only thing that matters. And we don't care that the devs are going to get blamed for it, because I still got my paycheck in the long run. That's the issue. And it's like, yeah. And that's exactly it, is you get the people that will consume the shovelware, because capitalism breeds that kind of manipulation within sales, within development and all that. It's that like gambling style, which is why whales make something like pay to win or the free to play models so successful, because less people are playing the games, because most free to play games don't do well when you look at the amount of sales that they make, right? Because one, they're not really being counted because they're not selling anything, but two, the way you traditionally count is how many copies are out there, how many people are playing all at once. And when you look at a free-to-play game, you might see that, 10,000 people are playing it versus, I don't know, the war game that came out that's really, really popular right now. The one that, like, the aliens and all that kind of stuff. Like, that one might have, like, 100,000 people playing. And you're gonna go, yeah, the 10,000 versus 100,000, obviously that other game's more successful. But what they don't see is that the 10,000 might have 1,000 players who are paying up the ass for this game. So in the long run, the company's made more money with less players. And so they don't care that other games are going to suffer going through this model, because they're going to make more money in the long run, even though they're ruining the whole industry by doing it. But they don't actually care about the industry. They care about the paycheck. It's a business thing, which is, again, going with what you were saying, Lauren, it's not a CEO being the problem. It's that capitalism drives the greedy to get into these positions who don't actually care. Another really good, and again, I'm not going to go into too much because this isn't a political stream. Which really, this is more of an economic decision, not a political decision, but the West has really conflated the two. But it's another example is the Xbox. What happened with the Xbox during the Xbox One series? They made the Xbox, then they made the Xbox 360, and then they made the Xbox One. And what happened with the Xbox One? It was all about television and DRM and all these obscene rules And then when people, were upset and they're like, we don't have internet in our region that's going to be good enough to be connected all the time. Internet's too expensive in my area and I'm poor. And what was their response when they asked this guy, who is a multi-millionaire, close to billionaire, who's always been a millionaire since he was like 17 or something like that. Like he earned millions of dollars because he developed some game that got really famous when he was young. What happens when they asked him, like, what does he say? Well, we do make something for those people. It's called the Xbox 360, which is spitting in the face of everybody who's not a millionaire. Because to him, it's logical that, well, if you can't pay for the fancy thing, then just stick with the poor thing. And it's like, we all know that in 2 or 3 years, you're going to stop supporting this thing. So you're literally saying you don't need us. Which is the mentality of a capitalist who is a multimillionaire, which is another reason that Xbox plummeted at that point. And they're still trying to fix it now. And what's happening now? Phil Spencer got put in. Phil Spencer has done a lot of great things for gaming because he cares about gaming. But the new CEO doesn't care about gaming. He's a multi-million-dollar man who only cares about business and not actual gaming or anything like that. And he has suggested that they need to get rid of Xbox. And Phil Spencer's the only one kind of standing in the way going, no, we need to we just need to become authentic to what gaming is. And his hands are tied. And what's happening right now? We're all blaming Phil Spencer for the bad decisions Xbox is making, but Phil Spencer is the second. So even though he's at the top of Xbox, he still doesn't have the final say because the CEO has the final say. And the CEO is saying, hey, Phil Spencer, we don't want this. And it's just ruining all of gaming yet more. And it's so frustrating. I'm about to end, so don't worry, Lord. We're done in just a second. It's frustrating. That's exactly what happens. So it's CEOs aren't the problem. It's what being a CEO attracts, and it's because of capitalism. It's the multi-billionaires, and they are willing to do whatever it takes for the shareholders, and the shareholders care even less than the CEO does. Because the CEO may have cared, because I know Bobby Kotick did care at first, and the guy, I can't remember his name, Randy Pitchford, is that his name? That douchebag used to care about gaming. He was a dev. He cared. He was there. But he cares more about money, and he knows he gets more money from all the investors. And so he's gonna bend the knee to an investor. And what's an investor? They're people like the Rockefellers who don't care about gaming. They only care about the paycheck in the long run. And so they carry the threat of, well, we'll just pull out if you guys don't actually do what's gonna make us more money. And it's like, but it'll kill gaming. I don't care if it dies. I'm gonna make more money doing it, so just do it. And so it's frustrating. And so I'm worried. It's not because of capitalism. Oh, I 100% disagree. 100% disagree. Because capitalism is all reward, no risk when you're at that top level. And it's all about burning everything as long as you make an extra dollar. Definitely. That part, yes, 100%. It's definitely about power. When you have more power, it consumes that. It makes it corrupt. But capitalism inherently leads to that. Because with capitalism, the goal is to continually grow and to get rid of all the competitors, which is how you end up with what happened with Xbox, where they're buying all these different companies. And that leads to concentrations of power, which leads to that corruption. That's the thing, though. That's an American brainwashed interpretation of a socialism is. Socialism is socially everyone owns what is happening. So there is no concentration of power because we all own what's happening. So if I work at a business, all of the profits go to everybody who works at the business. But capitalists try to turn it into what you're saying, and that's not what socialism at its core is. Which is what happened with, like, when Americans talk about Cuba being so bad because they're communists and socialism and all that stuff. That's where the problem lies, is Americans don't want to lose the power. So then, and Canadians are in the same line. So they warp what it is, and they don't tell you all the things that they've done to bring in their power. And then the failure of those societies happen to that, you know? Yeah, and then 100%. That is 100%. It only works when everybody's on board. And human nature makes that impossible. So socialism probably would never work. because humans are just innately corrupt. Not all of us, but there is enough corruption within humanity innately that it will probably never work, because there will always be somebody looking to exploit the system. So 100%, I agree on that one. 100% agree with that. And yeah, definitely. And exactly, in a perfect world, it wouldn't be necessary. And that's the thing. There is no clear-cut answer. There is no simple answer. But capitalism is definitely not even a good answer. The Western world is convinced of that, but they don't look at what the Western world has done to other cultures and countries in order to propagate that lie. You know what I mean? Because like my home country, there was a whole civil war that started because Americans came in and did exactly that, talking about how communism was bad and capitalism was what we needed to do. And it's even an unfair argument to say socialism would never work. And I'm not saying I agree with this, but it is an unfair argument to say socialism would never work, because it's never actually been properly tried. Anytime it's been tried, it's been interfered with by the Americans. And so there has never been a socialized experiment that hasn't had interference brought in by Americans. And so it's hard to say it works when it's always been interfered with by the opposing argument. And so we won't know. And as the world stands and as it looks like it's gonna go down the path that it's going, we probably won't ever know. Unless the world implodes and we all fall apart and stay totally disconnected again. But we'll probably never know. And it's too bad. But the main point I was trying to make is yeah, the blame lies in greed for how these games really fall apart. It's in greed, you know? Sounds very... I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I mean, it's the ETH-maker, it's what the world has struggled with for a very, very, very long time, right? Is people having different opinions on how things are done. But the factor that, like, now that we have more connections with each other and are able to speak more, there's more disagreement about it because we can't be as easily brainwashed, right? Because there's a lot of information. I see it as a Canadian, but as a Canadian immigrant, I see how little Canadians and Americans really know about the world outside of their own country and really know what impact their world has on the world outside of their country. Because that whole thing, like a lot of Americans aren't aware of what the States has done to Cuba and how the States tries to play the hero in it, but they are the ones that have caused everything. And they use Cuba as an example of why their political standing doesn't work, but they caused every reason that it doesn't work. You know, I think Fidel Castro, not a great guy, but it's kind of hard to say whether or not their way of doing things would work when America didn't only say we are going to annex everything and not let them do anything, but then threatened everybody around them saying, hey, but if you do anything, we're also going to annex you. And being the biggest power in the world, everybody else has to kind of just go, okay. So then nobody else does business with Cuba. Of course Cuba's not going to survive because they're a tiny island. But then Americans only hear Cuba's failing because their political system doesn't work, ignoring the fact that America's literally threatened everybody around them, so we couldn't see if they would succeed or not because America said, no, nobody help them. Let them do it themselves. And, you know, but America takes help from everybody around them. That kind of thing. So we will never know, right? Yeah, absolutely, Lauren. It's whoever's in power writes history, and the history they write puts them in a favorable light. It doesn't matter what nation it is. I'm just speaking about Americans now because Americans are in power. So speaking about the Germans is a moot point because they're not in power. That's kind of like doing the argument of like, hey, you did something wrong, and you go, yeah, but that guy did something wrong. Cool, but I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about them, right? Both can exist at the same time, but they also doesn't negate the fact that America is objectively a horrendous country. Objectively, the things they do and the things they have done and continue to do are objectively tyrannical to the rest of the planet. They have committed full-blown war crimes, been called for it, found guilty of war crimes, and Americans aren't aware of it. Like the population aren't aware of it. And the leadership is, but they're the ones who have to implement the punishment. And they just ignore that they've been found guilty. And then just refuse to punish. And who's gonna stand up to them? They've got Canada in their back pocket because we are their nearest neighbor and we rely on them heavily. They've got the UK in their back pocket because they are also in partnership. They share the military stuff. So like, who else is going to stand up to them? All the other countries are poorer and they're not willing to do anything. Now, this isn't to argue that like China and Russia are better. Any superpower in the world is looking to paint everybody in a bad light. But pointing out the flaws of one place doesn't negate the flaws of another. But focusing on someone else's is not an argument for what we're talking about right now. Again, you're moving the goalpost, right, Lauren? Because I'm not talking about that. I wasn't talking about mocking Americans for not knowing other countries and stuff. Because I've had Europeans make fun of me because I only speak English and Spanish. But most Americans and Canadians only speak English. Well, when you live 30 minutes away from a different country, yeah, it's beneficial to learn a different language, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that Americans think Cuba is bad because communism is bad or socialism is bad, but they don't know the difference between socialism, capitalism, and communism properly. They also don't realize that Americans caused Cuba to fall apart, or that Americans caused my country to fall apart, and Americans think people from my country are going into the States because our country fell apart because we're a third world country. They don't know that Americans caused us to be a third world country. That Americans came in and pushed us out of our land, and then, lived in our land, started industries in our land, so there was nothing left for us to make money from, and left the rest of our people poor, while Americans owned our biggest farms. And now when our people are moving somewhere else to try to find work, Americans blame us for moving, but they're not aware that Americans caused that to happen. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Americans not being aware of where they are in a map because they have a American-centric map that they use at school that no one else on the planet uses. I'm not talking about how Americans use imperial system when the rest of the planet uses a metric system. I'm not talking about Americans, lacking basic knowledge about the rest of the planet. I'm talking about like Americans not being aware of their own history and how tyrannical their country has been to the rest of the planet, not just to their own people. There's really basic information about just what America is that Americans aren't aware of. But moving the goalpost, again, is what I was saying earlier, that doesn't negate what I'm saying, right? Because Europeans are lacking awareness of a lot of places in the States and Canada and how we live, but that doesn't negate what America did to my country. That's not an argument against it. You know what I mean? I know you were. Okay, if it was just a point to make for making the point, I don't know. That's literally moving the goalpost. That's literally moving the goalpost. I don't even have a follow-up to it. That's literally moving the goalpost. Because I'm having a conversation about one specific topic and you diverted to something else. As in, we have the goal that we're talking about and you moved it to a different goal. You diverted the goal to a different goal. You moved the goalpost. That's literally what you did. So, yet again, it's a moot point what you're saying. I don't know what to say, Lauren. I don't know what to say, honestly. The new Hassan Piker. No, just, you know, it is what it is. Okay, that makes more sense, Lauren. That makes more sense. I get it now. Okay. Yeah, and again, going back to the point you made earlier, depending on where you are, your perspective is going to be different, right? Like every power is going to warp history to their own benefit. You know what I mean? Like the way that like the UK sees the world wars is very different than how Americans see it. Very different than how Canadians see it. And that's going to make a very big difference on how we interpret things as well. Which, like, back to what you had just said, the Americans not knowing European lands. Yeah, there are things that a lot of people make fun of each other for that, like, is nonsense. Because, yeah, Americans don't know multiple languages. They don't know all the different places in Europe. Hell, I don't know a lot of places in Europe. But why would it be... Now it's more important. I will say this. Now it's more important that we are more aware of it. But, you know, I'm 38. When I was in school, when I learned all the places that I would need to learn, I learned Canadian places and I learned a lot of American stuff. Why? Because flying to Europe didn't happen as often. Like if you were gonna fly somewhere, you didn't go on vacation every year flying out there in the 90s, right? Like you might go on one vacation in your lifetime, or like in my family's case, we moved here with the idea we were never gonna go back home and see our family again. And so why would I need to learn about Europe if the odds of me going to Europe are gonna be next to none? And so we grew up with that mentality, and everything like politics is always behind, or laws, not politics, laws are always behind, they always lag. That's kind of how the education system works, is we're just starting to realize we probably need to learn more about Europe, because now people fly to Europe multiple times in their lifetime. And so knowing European history for Americans and Canadians is much more important than it was 20 years ago, when it didn't happen as often, 30 years ago, when it didn't happen as often. But it was important for Europeans to understand the differences between Spain and Italy and France and England, because they're all different countries, but you can drive for 15 hours and see all those places within that distance. Whereas in Canada, my country in particular, my province in particular, you can drive 15 hours north and you are still in my province. You can drive, I think it's 24 hours in my province and still be in my province. So what benefit is it for me to know about France when I'm more likely to go to the States than I would ever be to go to France back in the old days? So it's so stupid when people have that argument of like, Americans don't know European countries. They didn't need to, because travel has only become common nowadays. It was not a common thing 20, 30 years ago at the level it is now. It was much more common 20 years ago than it was 20 years before that, but it's ridiculous how common it is now. So yeah, now they need to update. Now kids need to know about other countries and maybe learn a few more languages to be able to get along with more people in the world, because jobs now require it a lot more. But yeah, it's a really dumb argument. Same can be said about how Canadians make fun of Europeans when they're talking about the heat. You know, like we're sitting, today it's not super hot, but we're sitting at 78, almost 79 Fahrenheit, which is like 26 and a half Celsius. That is warm. It's quite warm, but it's not obscenely warm. But when you hear about people in the UK melting at 26 degrees, a lot of Canadians and Americans will be like, wow, you guys are wimps. It gets to like 34 degrees here, or 95, 100, whatever in the States. But what people don't consider is, one, they live in a different landmass, so the humidity levels are different. That totally affects it. The way that the buildings are made will reflect how much like heat is absorbed within the area around them. But there's also the fact that most of our homes in warmer climates are meant to deal with the warmer climate. So we'll have central air. We'll have buildings that will be made to stay cooler longer. Whereas like in the UK, they are not used to that heat on an average basis. So the buildings they're living in are not meant to deal with that heat, and most of them don't have air conditioning. So they're gonna overheat. So it's like the world still doesn't really know, you know? Yeah, and I agree, Lauren. It's definitely less people that are doing it intercontinentally, but it's now after COVID, maybe not so much, but the chances of it becoming much more commonplace are getting higher and higher as we continue. Because before it was only like the very, very wealthy or the high business people that would travel far, or it was the immigrants that were doing like a big move for their life. But now you're starting to see people traveling just for the sake of traveling. Like I know way more people now that traveled during their school years just to get life experience than like what my parents knew when they got here and they were 25 years old. They knew almost nobody that traveled. The people that they knew that traveled were the immigrants that also moved here. But to actually go anywhere was not as commonplace as it is now. That being said, it's gonna get more common as time progresses. It's still not at a point where it's completely mandatory that like you're gonna fail if you don't know anything about Europe, but it will be one of those oh yeah, absolutely. Relatively, as in like they're living in a home that they own and they've got a couple of cars and they've got a full retirement plan, and if they take a few weeks off work, it wouldn't be a big deal because they still have money in savings. Like, yeah, relatively rich, not Elon Musk level. But being relatively rich, although now with the way the world's going, that's becoming a bigger gap, but becoming relatively rich is a lot more... It's not that it's more commonplace. It's that you can do a lot more at that like economic level, if that makes sense. Like it's not the money level, it's the at a certain level you are like the okay wealthy but maybe not ultra rich, but you're not poor and busting your nails to, you know, do one thing.
Personalized live and virtual events.
It's kind of one of these things like before you used to be able to like have one full-time employed person in a household and you could own a car and you would own a house and you had all your groceries paid for. And nowadays that's not really a chance unless you're going to be one of the very well-off people. But being comfortable now has more access to getting a flight, because like before a flight might have been $500. Now they're like $1,000, but $500 in the 70s was a hell of a lot more money than it is now. But it was also something that you weren't just going to splurge on. You were going to spend $500 to leave, and that $500 was to leave for life. Whereas now, if you're going to a different country, even if you're going to go move there, it's not a final goodbye. It's a, I'll be back. It may only be 5 more times in the rest of my life, but I'll be back. Whereas like when my parents came here, for them it was they will never see their parents ever again. And that is like a huge thing. Nowadays it's yeah, I'm moving and I'm not gonna come back, but I'll come back to visit because I'll still be able to come once or twice. People are not traveling nearly as much as maybe what I sounded like I was meaning, but it's not far off because we've gone from moving somewhere being a final life decision that you will never see the people back home ever again, to it now being yeah, this is a life choice, but it's no different than moving a few hours away in a relatively short amount of time. That I do believe that in maybe 30 years it will be much more commonplace for people to travel far and it be a fairly regular place, you know what I mean? Oh, I would 100% be that. I would totally be willing to do that. But yeah, that's what it used to be back in the day, right? Like you would, like, if you go back even further, if you go back like 200 years, that's what it was going from Europe to here. It was literally like going to Alpha Centauri. You were going, and not only were you never going to go back, but you may only receive 2 letters in your lifetime from your family because the amount of ships that are going back and forth are not enough to be able to write a whole bunch of letters. Then it progressed to the shipping trade post thing was so much faster that you could write letters continually, but you probably wouldn't go back very often. Then it turned into, well, you're gonna go on like 1 trip in a lifetime if you're incredibly rich. And then it turned into, well, I can pretty much travel anywhere in the world, but if I'm moving, I'm probably never going back. I'll be able to phone call, I'll be able to send letters, but I'll probably never go back. If somebody back home has enough money to go on a trip, maybe I'll see them. Or if I happen to get lucky and start a business and get rich, maybe I'll go back, but the average Joe won't. Now it's gotten to the point where it's like the average Joe can go visit back home. It's gonna take a lot of work, it's gonna take a lot of savings, but you can do it. Like my brother has probably gone back home 15 times. I may have gone back home in my lifetime, maybe 10 times. I have aunts that go back every year, and they're not rich. They're very stable, but they're not rich. So it's not too far-fetched to think that we could be to the point, like, I mean, we have college students now that literally fly to a relatively far area. It's a half an hour flight, but they'll fly to school every day. So it's like, it's not too much of a far leap to say that you can start flying to a different continent on a relatively regular basis. Not too far off in the future. And I'm not saying in a year or two, I'm saying a few decades, which really isn't too far in history. But yeah, this Alpha Centauri thing, I would absolutely see that being a thing. And then that's exactly what it would be like. You're gonna have people that are gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna go fly to this place out in the middle of nowhere. I'm never coming back. I'll never see you again, and we may never communicate again, but I'm doing it. You know, who knows? Who knows? Honestly, Lauren, I think it's an interesting concept. I don't know if I'd have the courage to do it. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have the courage to do it. I would have the courage to do it for something like going to a different planet. I would have the courage to do it for something like that. I wouldn't have the courage to do it for like a job or just for like the fun of it. You know? But I think it would be really interesting to go on like a pilgrimage and go off on an adventure and do something crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, Lauren, the world has become very small. And I think that's also what's contributing to a lot of what's happening right now with like a lot of anger and a lot of arguments and a lot of things falling apart. Is we are more connected than we've ever been. The world is smaller than we've ever been. And the arguments are more obvious to everybody than they've ever been. And the next natural step is to reach out there and see what's going on. But we're in that awkward phase where the world is getting smaller, but the universe is still too big. Because, you know, with the technology we have, to get to the nearest star, we're looking at like thousands of years of travel, millions of years of travel. Even at light speed, we're looking at years of travel to get there. We're not even close to light speed. So it's like millions of years to get to Alpha Centauri, and that's just not feasible right now. So the universe is too big, but our world is getting too small. It's wild. Yeah, Lauren, and that's the really interesting part is everybody has their own different priorities in life in what they feel they need, and not including food or being rich or anything like that. But yeah, like what somebody would be considering as risk-taking that isn't worth it, or risk-taking that is, or somebody that would consider that as like a rush, which could be completely insane to somebody else. Like for you, cliff diving is scary, or what was the other one you said? I'm trying to read it. Cave diving, or like diving in like the deep ocean, or just exploring a regular cave without any diving, or climbing a mountain. But then to somebody else, it's just like, it's as risky as just riding a roller coaster. They're not really worried about it. Or for me, I'm willing to go on stage and be in front of a bunch of people and perform. Whereas to some people, that is the wildest thing and they could never do that, but they're willing to jump out of a plane. But they would never, ever, ever consider ever being on stage, because to them, humiliation is a lot scarier than physical harm. And that can really dictate what your risks... The risks can really dictate what you would be willing to do in life. You know what I mean? Like for me, being on stage isn't scary. But for me, moving to New York to pursue it is. One of my friends who was all over the news when COVID first started, he moved to New York and pursued it. And he moved out there without knowing anything. Like he had a band and they just went out there and like bought a bachelor apartment, and they all lived in this bachelor apartment. All the musicians lived in one bachelor apartment and just played at bars. And then somebody approached him and said, "You're a good singer. You've got a great look. Like, have you ever thought about auditioning?" Just through conversation. And then he had said like, yeah, he wants to do that. Like, that's why he's out there. He wants to perform. And then he started auditioning. Next thing you know, he's on Broadway. He's getting nominated for Tony Awards and stuff. And to me, it's like, yeah, I'm not afraid to put myself out there and audition. I'm not afraid to being on stage naked. I'm not afraid to do any of that stuff. Falling on stage and making a mistake, not scary at all. moving is scary for me. Moving is so scary. Yeah, and that's exactly it, right, Lauren? So like the odds are much higher than an injury from falling out of a plane and a parachute failing or going, climbing a mountain and something happening to you, although the risk is much higher on a mountain than it is from jumping out of a plane. But like you might embarrass yourself on stage at least once per run, if not once a week during a run. Whereas like you might climb mountains your whole life and never get stuck up there. You might cave dive your whole life and never get hurt. You might jump out of a plane and your kids might jump out of a plane and their kids may jump out of a plane and never get hurt. But you make a mistake cave diving or jumping out of a plane and it's final. Make a mistake on stage, it's embarrassing, but you move on. And so like that, highlighting what you were saying, it shows how the focus of value is different. Whereas like I'm looking at the level of danger from one mistake, whereas you've just brought up the amount of chance of that mistake happening. And instead of being embarrassed 100 times versus maybe getting, let's not even go to the extreme of dying, but like maybe getting permanently injured one time, the risk of getting hurt that one time, plus how high the chance of it happening is, really negates how likely you are to be embarrassed and have that be a continual part of your life. It's wild. It's so wild. I don't think I'd mountain climb. I wouldn't mind either or. I just know I'm not, like, I definitely want to skydive eventually. But climbing a mountain I wouldn't want to do only because I'm lazy and it's incredibly expensive and I don't like being uncomfortable. That's the main reason. I don't like being uncomfortable. Amazing, Tara. And you have a house. Awesome. How long do you have to get out? Yeah, that I agree with. Skydiving accident is a few seconds to maybe a couple of minutes of fear, and then it's done. Being in a cave could be anywhere from a couple of minutes if you fall or if you drown, if you're diving, to being trapped and it being multiple hours or days. And that is way scarier. I don't know if I'd want to do that. That would be very scary. I wouldn't be able to handle that. No, thank you. Yeah, the few moments would be thrilling for the few moments that it would be. And you probably wouldn't even feel thrill or fear. There would be fear, but it wouldn't be like, oh my God, I'm dying, despair. It would be oh God, something's wrong. And then you'd be fixated on trying to fix it. And that would concentrate you to the point of it's done. And so like it even negates the fear further because you would be so like focused on what you're doing. Whereas with cave diving, if you get stuck, like that guy that got stuck in the cave upside down when he was going in a hole and he got stuck, he knew he was stuck. He knew he was dying. And there was nothing he could do to concentrate on something else. He was just stuck there waiting for help.
DQ presents...
That, no thank you. You couldn't pay me enough to do that. No, no way. I would love to see caves. I would love to see those kind of things. Take me to one of those caves that are big and open, that you never have to even crouch down to get past an area. You just stand there. Open to those. 100% I'm open to those. If I have to get on my belly, nope. You can go and have fun. I'm not doing it. No way.
Everyone will have to get one for themselves. Hurry in to get this flavor before the DQ freezer closes. DQ, happy tastes good.
Okay, so you have lots of time to get out, which is great, because that's the hard part, is when you have to leave the area you have to leave it. Because if you have an early date to move in, you can just start moving stuff little by little. So that's good.
Some of them. Let's get started on your 5-year plan. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Yeah, I hate the feeling of falling, for sure. For me, about the mountains, it's just the discomfort. It's just the discomfort that really makes me not want to do it. Because like I would be scared to fall, because it doesn't seem like it would be a quick death. It would be painful. That happened to a streamer just a few years ago. He was climbing Mount Fuji, and it was in the winter, and he had running shoes, and he slipped off the mountain, and he live streamed him falling. Now, mind you, you hear him yell and scream for a bit, and then the camera flies off, and then it breaks, and it gets cut out. But when they found him, apparently he went through a meat grinder. He was shredded. I'm sure that was not an instant death. I'm sure it was painful and horrendous the whole way through. But it was still 5 minutes of falling versus 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks of being stuck in a cave. No thank you. No thank you. But for me, the discomfort is you're going to be cold. It's going to be wet. You're going to be exhausted. The low breathing, being out of breath all the time. That all just no. No, man. Yeah, and that's the hope, is that he bumped his head and that it was done and over with, you know, or he broke his neck if he like turned around and hit a rock on the way and he was out of it and his body was shredded afterwards. But yeah, no thank you. Yeah, Preston, I don't know how people do it. I really don't. I would be interested, right? Like, I would love to see that. I think it looks so beautiful when you see these like, deep caves that people are swimming in, and you can see what it looks like when their lights are on, and it looks so cool. But it's not beautiful enough for me to want to go in there. Not beautiful enough for me to want to check that out. No, thank you. Or like even the submarine thing that happened with the Titanic last year. I would love to go down there and maybe not see the Titanic, because I do feel it's a little bit morbid. But down to be in the ocean and see the animals down there and like maybe see other shipwrecks or whatever. I think it's really cool. You know, I love Subnautica because that feeling is awesome. But no, not worth it. Not worth it. Ugh. Yeah, no, the risk is too high. The feeling of being trapped is too high. Like the guys in that submersible, it just imploded. They didn't feel anything. So that's great. Like it was so quick that it was faster than a brain can process anything. At the same time, imagine if they did just get stuck. Like it happened in one of the subs in Russia. It happened, I think, with an American sub as well. But in Russia, the big one that happened, they got stuck. A bunch of people died in the sub, but there were people in the back of the sub that were trapped. And they just knew they were trapped, and they knew there was nothing they could do to be saved. And just being stuck there, knowing you're stuck in the cold and you're wet and you're thousands of meters underground, just or underwater, and there's nothing you can do to escape, and you just know you're slowly gonna die. And now, unfortunately for them, they caught on fire and they all died. But like, that's horrible. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. That's horrible. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, it wouldn't be for the Titanic, exactly. Like, there's parts of it that I'm like, that's cool, but I like history. So I'd be interested in like the historical significance of it, the way that art used to be in those days. But I would be really uncomfortable with risking my life or other people's lives, especially for money. If it was in like how James Cameron has done it, where he's gone in for like scientific study or historical study, that's a bit different. You're allowed to enjoy it and be excited about it while still actually doing something that is significant for the world, versus going down there to gawk at where people died, which is what these guys were doing. Especially when one guy's doing it to get rich and the other people are doing it because they're rich. That to me is just slimy, and I don't know if I could get around that so much. But to go down, if I was just gonna go down and gawk, it'd be go down and gawk at like reefs that are deep, or some kind of like heat vents that you go down there for. Or like an area where there's gonna be a lot of wildlife that you can see, but that's deep enough that you normally wouldn't see it just by scuba diving. That stuff would be really cool. That stuff would be amazing to go gawk at, because it's a world that we would never be a part of. But going to gawk at a tragedy is just something that I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, Lauren, exactly. And that's exactly it, right? Like, those things would be so cool to see. It would be so cool to see. That was my favorite part about Subnautica. I played it in VR, and I would just go to a scenery, and I would just look around. And that's all artificial, but it's like, I would love to see that, knowing there's whole animals that live down here that are so much bigger than us. There's whole lives that go on down there. And I think all of that is so cool. I would love to do that. And I think it's really, this is going to space. I would love to go to space, and I don't have to see anything, just to be able to experience something that is so out of what our normal life would experience. Being able to see the moon, not through our own atmosphere. Being able to see a different planet would be so cool. Like, that would be phenomenal to see a different planet. Would I actually achieve anything from it, or like, would it be an experience worthwhile? As far as like, you know, if you work out, you get more fit. if you go down to this cave, you might find a diamond or whatever. No, I wouldn't actually get anything out of it, but it would be so cool to experience. I would totally be down for that. And that's why, like, when the Mars thing that Elon tried to BS sell everybody, I genuinely considered what my decision would be if I had that opportunity to, like, go to a different planet, to be a colonizer at a planet, and really start the beginnings of humanity going to a different place, and know I would never come back. I would do it. I would totally do it. I would totally do it. I think it'd be so cool. Yeah, Preston, that's it. Like when they have to push their packs through to get there, or when they're silted in and they can't see anything, and all they can do is just like feel a rope and start pulling. No thanks. No, I couldn't do that. I could not do that. Or when it's like you're gonna travel in a narrow passage where you can't even stretch your arms out for 5 minutes straight. No way. No, couldn't do it. All the power to those people. But I also know there are people that think about going on stage and they see it the same way. And for me, it's like, no way, it's so easy to be on stage. Yeah, cave diving on water, even regular cave diving wouldn't be for me. I couldn't do regular cave diving either. I could do it if it was like big open caves, you know what I mean? Like when you see those ones that it's like a huge hole and you can like go way down, spelunk way down low, I'd totally do that because it's wide open. I'm not gonna get stuck. I might get stuck, like equipment won't come, like our equipment breaks and I can't get out. But I also know if someone's gonna come rescue me, all I have to do is just bring new equipment and get me out. Whereas like one of these like proper cave diving expeditions where you're like crawling and stuff, if you get stuck like that one guy that did, there was nothing they could do. They were trying to use TNT to just break the stuff around him. They were trying to drill around him. But in the process, he's dying. No thanks. No way. Not gonna do that. No way. But if it's a big open cave, like the ones where you can go see the stalagmites and stalactites and stuff, and you can walk and you don't need to wear caving equipment. You might have to wear a helmet because like a rock could fall on your head. But like you could just walk in with shorts and a t-shirt and just look around and take pictures. And there might be wires around so you can't cross certain areas. I'd do that. I'd 100% be down for that. But you're gonna get me to get my hands and knees? Nah, I'm good. You guys go on ahead. I'll just chill here. I'll just sit at the entrance of the cave and look at the woods around me. Anyways, I should get going. I gotta go eat. I ended up talking for almost an hour. I gotta go eat. I'm starving. I will be back on Friday for sure. I haven't decided if Thursday I'll be back. I have to work on my Minecraft video. I'm gonna try working on it today. See if I can get ahead on it. I also have to record the next Minecraft video. So depending on whether or not Kendra can hang out, I'll see everybody Wednesday. If she can, sorry. I'm gonna see her on Wednesday. If I can't see her, then it depends on whether or not I can make the progress on the Minecraft video. If I can get ahead on the Minecraft video, then I'll be live. Probably Thursday. I'll definitely be live Friday. Friday, we're going to continue with Zelda, Link Between Worlds. If I'm live on Thursday, it's not going to be Wolf Among Us either. Maybe I'll play, like, that game. The one that has the upcoming Silk Song. Hollow Knight. I might play Hollow Knight, maybe, to see what happens. Tara, I'm happy that you found a place. I'm sorry that you joined at the very end. We didn't really get to chat. Lauren, thank you for hanging out. Everybody else who hung out, I really appreciate you all being here, seriously. I will see you all in a couple of days. Tara, send me a message. Tell me all about the stuff that's going on. Anyways, I will see everybody later. Thank you so much for hanging out, and have yourselves a great day. All right, see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.